Hello, fellow Earthlings, and welcome to Deep Dive from the Hive, where we discuss modern-day musician life, answering the call to create, and what it takes to actually produce what you believe in. I'm your host, Marv Ellis, the captain of this submarine. It's a pleasure to be here with you today, so let's batten down the hatches and get to it. Let's go. Yes. Check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Yes.
Can you hear yourself?
Checking ones and twos.
There are creatures that are free in here right now.
Checking doobie doos.
Yeah, what she just said. What's up, everybody? It's me. It's your host, Marv Ellis. Welcome to Deep Dive at the Hive, from the Hive, where we talk about art, creation, and everything in between, and what it takes to make it and put out what you believe in. Shout out to everybody tuning in, watching. This is a very special podcast recording for me. I get to have my band here, the Free Creatures. So shout out to everybody on the Skyway. Horner, I love you, bro. Keep cooking up that delicious food. We'll see you soon. All the service industry people out there working to make a difference, cleaning the dishes, sitting there listening to podcasts. This one's for you. Anybody out there gardening, doing anything out there, just wanting to get by and listen to something sweet. I hope this helps you get through. In studio right now, we have my bandmates from the Free Creatures. I'm super excited. This is going to be different and slightly strange, but we're going to go deep and we're going to try and pick up some facts. In front of me, we have my fiance, my dream woman, Emily Turner.
Oh, hello.
Say hello, Emily.
Hey, dream guy.
And then we have our dream bandmate to my right, her left, the one and only Skylar Squglio.
He's a dreamer.
Skylar's in the building.
I'm dreaming. I'm scheming.
Scheming. Schemer. So yeah, here we are. This is the podcast. We have a live stream show coming up this Friday, correct?
Yes.
And it's going to be at 7:37, 8 o'clock. That's right. I like to ask you to make sure we get the time right and just reiterate the time. So 8 p.m. this Friday. You can tune in and watch us do our thing. And this is kind of a different interview situation for me. For me, it's always been interesting. You guys have fascinated me since I met you both. Let me just say it like that. That's a good way of saying it. Emily, obviously, when I saw you, I was like, holy shit. But I know your story. I know where you're from. But I guess and Skylar are the same. Like when you came through, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I know your story too. It's like I don't have to ask you these questions, but I want people to know who you guys are. So what I want to do is, to me, you're both superhero type people, and I want to know the origin stories. So maybe we'll start with that. That sounds pretty chill, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Emily,
Yes.
you were born and raised in
Anchorage, Alaska.
Okay. And for those of you who don't know where that is, where is that in Alaska? Because there's so many.
Yes. So if you're looking at the state of Alaska, got the Aleutian chain that comes out, and then there's the panhandle that's kind of over next to Canada. And between those is this little nubbin, and Anchorage is up there in the little piece of the nubbin there.
In the pit
right, South Central.
South Central.
Yes.
It's in the pit of the nub.
That's why you're so gangster.
The pit of the nub.
Yes.
South Central Alaska.
It's pretty hard up
Yeah,
there.
it was hard.
Hard to get a tan, probably.
Very, very hard.
You grew up in a very cold place.
I did, yes.
And what was that like, being in a frigid, cold place in the winter? What's that like up there?
I have memories of, chapped lips, number one.
Okay.
And I was playing trumpet as a kid, and I'd have to go out and wait for the bus 7 a.m. in January, and my nose hairs would be frozen, northern lights ripping in the sky above me, and my little chapped lips are like in the circle around my mouth outside of my, with the trumpet.
Yeah.
I would get like cold rashes, or I got hypothermia one time on the boat, and just definitely very cold, but also just
What part you got hypothermia?
what?
Which part got hypothermia?
My whole body, like
the whole thing?
Yeah, the whole thing. It was bad.
That's a lot of that.
There's a lot of hypothermias.
I thought you could just get it in like maybe your feet or.
No, it was like a whole body. I got way too low body temperature.
I'm thinking frostbite.
Yeah, no, not frostbite. Luckily, no.
I've never had either of those.
Yeah, I remember reading scary stories about it in school. They'd have to teach you to not get it.
So you've come from a land of massive, giant mountains and large salmon.
Yes.
So you grew up. Your father was a king salmon fishing guide.
Yes, he was. Yeah, in the Kenai River.
Kenai River.
Yeah, so I grew up every summer going down there and helping him and curing salmon eggs and fishing for 50, 60-pound king salmon. And
that's insane. How big is the 50, 60 pounds king salmon?
In fourth grade, I was maybe 5 feet tall, and it was as tall as me.
You were catching 5 foot long, 60-pound king salmon when you were in fourth grade.
Yes.
See, when I was in fourth grade, I was playing with Transformers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Skylar, you grew up in a place where I like to say it just for fun because I like playing with words, but you grew up in a place where reed is a sport most of your life. But originally you were born in Santa Cruz?
Yeah, I was born in Santa Cruz.
Okay. And then your family came up. How old were you when they came up to Oregon?
I was about 3 years old when we moved from Santa Cruz.
So
actually, I lived in next to Santa Cruz is a little mountainous area with redwoods in it called the San Lorenzo Valley, and that was a place called Ben Lomond.
Okay.
I lived there after I was born in Santa Cruz. Lived there for a little while. We moved to San Lorenzo Valley, about 15, 20 miles from Santa Cruz.
Okay. And then you came up to Reedsport.
Yeah. My mom is from the Oregon coast, and she wanted to raise me up there by her family and in a safer, more community environment, I guess. Santa Cruz is a little bit edgy.
Yeah.
A lot of drugs.
Yeah.
You know.
At that time, it was.
That still is.
Still
is, absolutely.
Raw. People are more raw.
Raw dog.
Raw. So the weather in Reedsport is like not. What's that like? She came from dark, cold, freezing, hypothermic conditions. You came from what kind of conditions?
Well, we just spent time in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, we did.
And it was sunny every day.
Every day.
You know, springtime is 75, 80 degrees.
Yeah.
And you're from Alaska where you're getting hypothermia and frostbite in your feet or whatever.
Yeah.
Reedsport's like right in the middle. You're not getting hypothermia, but there's no sunny days except for about 4 months a year. It's dark. You ever seen the show Twin Peaks?
Yeah.
It's not quite that bad.
Sort of Twin Peaky.
Yeah.
What's the vibe like? What are the people like there? Are they
in Reedsport?
Yeah.
Well, it's mostly fishermen and logging families.
Okay.
So a lot of the dads who on the Oregon coast and Reedsport are the breadwinners mostly, right?
Yeah.
It's like what's the word? It's like those are the families, like the usual family kind of type.
American traditional
standard,
you know.
Good old red-blooded or blue-blooded, I'm not quite sure.
The baby boomer style.
I suppose so. Yeah. A little bit more old-fashioned. But the people are good people. I'm very grateful to be raised around. I was very grateful to be raised around those people.
Seem you're a good person. I mean, I know that. We're trying to let people know you're.
I'm not. I'm pretty.
You're no angel, but you're also no demon, right? But then, what are the people like up in Anchorage, Alaska? Em?
You know, it's good old regular crazy, like we like to say it. Like you got to have this wild edge in your eye to make it up there. You got to be ready to go out in the wilderness and hunt and fish or ride some kind of crazy snowmobile or boat, or you drive big trucks and drink whiskey, and you're kind of tough.
How was that?
There's a lot of badasses up there, you know.
Were you in those conditions? Did you turn to an instrument during those times growing up? Were you like turning to an instrument at your teens?
Yeah, secretly in my bedroom, I would take an acoustic guitar and then play bass lines along to songs I liked, like Blink-182.
Okay.
I was in school, I was in band and playing trumpet, but I didn't really connect with the instrument. I didn't think it was that cool, really, at the time. I was very influenced by pop culture, and the only really cool band with a trumpet in it at the time was Cake, which I loved, and I still do.
Yeah.
But I was gravitating towards bass naturally as a kid, and then my mom took me to buy an electric bass one day, and I got all embarrassed and didn't want to buy it. I felt I couldn't even reach the end. I was kind of tiny, and they put this heavy electric bass on me.
So you weren't growing up studying bass at all?
No.
What were you doing?
Shopping. I was pretty good at school. I was doing a lot of homework and studying, but then also I was big into athletics, and I was in volleyball and cheerleading, and that took up a lot of my time.
Okay.
But not music. I didn't play that until my 20s.
You're just soaking up growing up.
Yeah, just
soaking
watching
up
MTV.
Life. Yeah.
It was a foreign reality. Like there wasn't much of an accessible music scene per se. When I was growing up, there were some friends who had some like punk bands. I remember going to a couple punk shows. Yeah, but there wasn't like touring bands didn't come through. It wasn't like a destination to actually see music. So it seemed like this reality that was very far outside. It's something that was not really even conceivable of, something I could be part of. It felt very like
there weren't peers doing it to show you that you could also do it.
No, like the peers that I knew, the people I knew that were playing music were either like virtuoso, really, really good in jazz band and stuff, and it seemed out of my reach, or there was like super cool kids in punk bands, but I didn't really know how, I wasn't part of it.
What kind of punk? Pop punk or?
Yeah, I like pop punk. It was like the days of Mest and like
Mest.
Yeah, I remember Mest.
No.
Or like NoFX or Blink-182 or what's I'm spacing.
What about Rancid? Did you ever listen to Rancid?
No, but
missing out.
Yeah.
What about you, Skylar? She's soaking up for her. The music reality is like this thing, like this, and then you were saying that, but at a younger age, how old were you when you started turning towards the guitar?
Well, I turned towards the guitar when I got my first girlfriend when I was 14.
Okay, and
she was playing bass, and her dad was really into teaching her music, and she was more receptive than I was. My dad wanted to teach me music too, so he got me guitars when I was a little kid, and I'm left-handed. So he got me left-handed guitars, and he tried to teach me. He wanted to show me. He thought that if he started teaching me when I was 5 years old, by the time I was in junior high, I could be like really cool and, probably have like lots of girlfriends, and that's what he hoped for me. So, but
it's a good dad right there.
But
what's his name?
Michael Squglio.
Michael.
I
met you.
Mr. Squglio.
He's a good man. You're good. He's come to a couple of shows.
He's in my music video.
He always makes me smile really big when I see him.
He's a very jolly gentleman.
He's a good hugger.
Yeah.
He's a good hugger. Your mom is the shit too, man.
Yeah, I got good parents.
Hi.
But I was 14 years old. Hi, Mom and Dad.
They're gonna watch this. You get to say hi to you.
Hi, Michael Squglio and Laura Squglio.
Hello.
So I was 14 when I started playing. My girlfriend at the time was learning bass, and so I asked her to teach me a bass line. But I'm left-handed, so I just flipped it upside down, kind of being a goofball. I was like, just teach me like this, and she got really frustrated. She didn't want to teach me like that, so it was almost like I got slightly challenged by it.
Yeah.
She didn't want to teach me that way, so I was like, I'll just learn it upside down. I can learn it.
So you learned...
And I wanted to learn upside down. Like I just I was very competitive right off the bat. I was like, I can do this. I know I can do it, even though I didn't know that I actually could do it.
Yeah, but you took that. You're an athlete.
I wouldn't say I'm I wouldn't say I'm like an athlete, but I like basketball a lot.
Did you? You played ball in high school, right?
Yeah.
Were you a starting point guard on your team?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, then you were an athlete.
All right.
So you have that.
I could barely touch the rim.
But so what? You still were an athlete. You're competitive, and maybe you took some of that and put it towards your.
Well,
guitar.
I always try to align the two with the skills that I learned from basketball and try to put them into music. And one is competitive and objective, and it's like it's linear. You make a basket, you get 2 points or 3 points, right?
Yeah.
And so music, it's like there's no score necessarily.
Yeah.
You go to a show, right? And it's like you have 3 bands. Which one do you like the most? That's your opinion. It's like it's not like that with basketball. So there's certain things that I took from basketball, which was the concentration and the paying attention to people around you and anticipation.
So did you? Forgive me for asking, but did you just sort of escape the monotony of living in Reedsport through your guitar? Is that your escape from there?
That is a very good question. And no, not necessarily. No.
Okay.
No, I liked it. I've always been one to find something and maybe obsess over it isn't quite the right word.
Right.
But I got into yo-yos when I was in 4th grade.
Really?
I got into yo-yos and I got really good at doing tricks.
Facts. I got to
Really?
drop the fact.
Yeah.
Wait, so if we busted out a yo-yo,
Yeah, you
for
got one? I'll show you some
got
shit.
tricks.
So I got into yo-yos and then I got into juggling. I got really into juggling.
2 jugglers in the band.
I can juggle too.
Yeah, we should do that on
We
stage.
should juggle back and
Nice.
forth.
Just like Chad.
Like Chad.
And then I got into jump rope. I got really into jump rope and got really good at jump rope.
What?
Basketball was another thing. I choose these things and I want to get really good at them. And then
Yeah.
I get bored with them after a while. Music for me, for whatever reason, there's a lot of peculiar sort of things that I was like shown from being early in my musicianship. Like I had my first band, the Cobras. We all got scholarships at the community.
Badass name.
Yeah,
I
the
love
Cobras,
that.
right?
Cobras,
we got
that's
we got,
We just were like,
we got
We're like,
scholarships at the local community college at SWAC.
What?
And yeah, we got scholarships because we did Battle of the Bands.
Okay, so let me just rewind. So you're yo-yos, juggling, guitars, basketball.
Yeah, that's
music.
the 4. That's the 4.
Those are the things.
But
that,
music is the one that stuck with me.
So that was your way of just living there and being there, right? But
Yeah, it was hard growing up in Reedsport. It's very isolated,
Yeah.
and there's not a lot of diverse culture. There's not a lot of art. You have to really dig deep to find the art, and I think that has been kind of the thing up and down the Oregon coast. But it's starting to change now. It's definitely in it. We've gone and seen some really cool
yeah.
people up and down the coast.
absolutely,
And
Oregon
I
Coast
always-
is. I think Oregon Coast is.
Well, it's
the spot
it's our
to be.
generation that is starting to make it a lot more artsy.
Yeah. Shout out to Mira,
10
Louie,
mile, 10 mile.
10 Mile Crew, Tyler,
Primal
again,
Tones.
Primal Tones, again, 2 podcasts in a row. You're getting shout outs. I'm going to. Emily, you escaped Alaska. What was your strategy? How did you get out of there? You were
Yes.
I know you want to get out of there. What was the move?
Unfortunately, my relationship to Alaska became dark as I reached my teens, and I needed to get the bleep out, which was the best for me. I'm not writing it off. I was just saying that was my experience. When my mom and dad split, my mom moved to LA to move in with her partner, and she went back to college down there, and she said, hey, we've got this spare room. Why don't you just get out of there for a while and come and live down here?
Straight to LA.
Yeah,
From
I went
Anchorage,
from Anchorage
Alaska,
to Los
straight to
Angeles.
LA.
And I got into a part-time college because I was already in college by that point, and that was kind of my main priority, was to get through college somehow. And so I transferred into a little community college down there, and I lasted maybe 6 or 8 months before I was like, oh, this is not the best fit for me. I am broke as a joke, and I don't think I can make it here. And
In Alaska or LA?
in LA.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're working at a musicians union, right?
Yeah, I really lucked out. First, I worked at this crazy pet store on Route 66 outside of San Dimas. And then I lucked out and I went into this temp agency, and they were like, well, you scored really high on all the placement tests. What are you into? And I said, well, I'm a music fan. I love music. And they put me in the local 57 musicians union, processing musicians' paychecks, like union musician paychecks from recording on, motion picture soundtracks and stuff. It was
That's
fascinating.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really
That's a pretty cool
fascinating.
job for LA.
I was stoked.
You weren't working at Donut Man.
No.
You worked at
Although
That would be
I
pretty
would
cool.
not
That
have
would be cool.
complained.
Too bad.
Yes.
Donut
Maple Bar.
Shout out to Chang.
Thank you,
If you're
Chang.
watching, Chang, thanks for taking us to Donut
Maple
Man.
Bar.
Thank you, Chang.
so you're in LA, you're working, you're like, this isn't
Yeah.
exactly what I thought it would
No,
be.
I was kind of overwhelmed. I was very overwhelmed, to be honest.
And you still weren't playing.
I still was not a musician at
instrument.
this point. No. But what I was a music consumer. I consumed the heck out of music. I'm a huge fan of a lot of music.
What were you vibing on then?
Beck and 311 and all the indie rock that was cool at the time, like Modest Mouse and
Strokes?
the Strokes for sure.
White Stripes?
White Stripes, love them. I loved like Bittersweet and all these other like random whatever, the Gorillas, and mostly mainstream. I was mostly, I didn't dive too deep into stuff except for 3 6 Mafia. That was I really got into that.
That's a deep well.
Here's a fun fact. Here's a deep fact right here. Emily Turner had, how big were the subs in your Subaru when you were
I got 2 10-inch subs in my Subi.
And you were bumping 3-6 Mafia in Anchorage.
Yeah.
Okay.
With me and my cheerleader
That's dirt
friends.
nasty.
Yeah, we
Just
got
thumping.
Yes, we would.
That snow is dirty.
We turned up on the way to the games that we were cheerleading at. It was
so fast forward to LA.
Yes.
Fast forward to not.
So yeah, no, I was a music consumer, and so I would go and out to go to shows and go to parties with a couple friends that had also moved down from Alaska, and I found myself at this party in Santa Barbara on Isla Vista where this kick-ass reggae band was playing, which happened to be Indubious.
What?
Yes, and I was like, whoa, like this.
So you saw Indubious.
Yes.
In the beginning in Cali.
Yes, circa 2008.
2008.
Yeah.
Okay.
At this super hip frat party on Isla Vista, and it was, to be honest, like some of the coolest live music I had seen, because you know, like it was not, we aren't getting music like that in Anchorage.
Okay.
And so, you know, I was pretty blown away. Left my information on their mailing list.
Okay.
And then, you know, history had it to where I was hanging out, and I moved up to Grants Pass because of a romantic relationship
with one of the members.
With one of the members, yes. But
which one?
Skip Wicked.
Skip Wicked,
the only
what
member.
up, Skip Wicked?
Yes, shout out.
Shout out to Skip Wicked and Dubious, bringing this beautiful woman to Southern Oregon.
He reached down into the pit of the devil's belly and was like, "No, you shall come into the nature."
So that's what brought you to Southern Oregon.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Skylar,
l'amour.
What brought you to Southern Oregon? Why did you come here from Reedsport?
Well, so I was in Newport, and Indubious was playing up there, and I fell in love with Maddie Wells and
Maddie Wells,
and Maddie T. Narmis snatched me up and brought me out of the devil's belly.
Okay, so it was a romantic endeavor with Maddie. Maddie,
have you met that guy? He's
lovable,
gorgeous.
He's gorgeous. His hair is thick and luscious. Maddie, we love you, man. Shout out, big up.
Yeah.
So, seriously, besides your romantic, how did you land in the southern low O?
Oh, okay.
Really?
How'd I come down to Southern Oregon?
Yeah.
So you want the real story?
I do want the real story.
Okay, here it comes. Ready?
Give me the real.
Okay, so when my great grandma died in 2006, I went and helped my grandma go and clear her house out, and I inherited her truck, my great grandma's truck. And so my girlfriend at the time wanted to go to SOU. She was a year younger than me. I just graduated high school. And so she wanted to go check out Ashland. And I had driven past Ashland a lot of times. I used to spend a lot of time in Mount Shasta. And so that was on the way. And so on our trip, we went down and we just, we had a mattress in the back of the truck, crashed out on the side of, by the college on a street.
Yeah.
Doing it hippie style.
Yeah,
I just
I like
sat on
it.
the edge playing my guitar.
Yeah.
And so she wanted to see the college town. And so that was like my first time hanging out in Ashland. I was like, this is just like paradise.
Like the sunshine, you're just waking up.
The sunshine, there was this, the Sunday market and all the hippie stuff.
Lithia Park.
Beautiful ivy and the water flowing through town.
Shakespeare, what doth it do, Skylar?
The trees were walking. The deers were talking.
The deers were letting you pet them.
And so the next year, she went to college. I stayed on the Oregon coast studying music.
Okay.
In Coos Bay
at SWAC.
and at SWAC. Yeah,
Okay.
I got a scholarship.
What?
Yeah, I got a scholarship to this community college, about $1,200 a term or something.
Facts, dude. These are
From
facts.
the Battle of the Bands thing?
Well, from the Battle of the Bands, also I tried out for it too.
Oh, cool.
That's
So
so
we had
sick,
like a
dude. I had no idea.
We had like so they were basically giving away tuition fees.
Wow. Recruiting talent to their school.
Yeah. So I was studying music. I quit that. My girlfriend at the time was like, come down and move in with me. She was moving out of the dorms.
Mm-hmm.
She was actually before that sneaking me into the dorm. So I was hanging out for like 2-3 weeks at a time in these dorms.
Oh my God.
Hanging out, just playing music.
You're
And
a
so
survivor, Skylar.
Yeah.
You're a survivor, man.
I've been rocking it for years.
You're a survivor, dude.
I moved down to Ashland in 2008 to come live with her. And then I started a band. And then I quit the girlfriend. And I kept going with the band. And that was what turned into 100 Watt Mind.
Okay. We'll get to 100 Watt Mind in a second.
Yep.
Wait a second.
What?
What about you?
Yeah, what about you?
Were you playing an instrument when you were a kid, or when did you come into the music thing?
Let's see. I played recorder.
Me too.
Who didn't? I played recorder. I played xylophone in band. And then I didn't play anything but baseball until I was about 19. I just lived life like you. Just tried to experience that. Nobody gave me an instrument. The only instrument I got was a baseball glove and a bat.
Rat-a-tat-tat.
Brat. Yeah, and I got really good at hitting and fielding ground balls. That was my passion. And then got obsessed with rhyming and rhythmic American poetry. I had a guy on my soccer team who was a Swiss German rapper. He taught me how to rap. I would beatbox for him. So I learned that my instrument was my voice.
Beatbox?
Yeah, beatbox.
So you're beatboxing before?
Yes, sir.
So I was beatboxing.
I would beatbox for all the
right.
ciphers.
All right.
Oh.
So there is some natural talent there.
Like I'd be like that kind of shit. And then
tight.
everybody would be like rapping in the crew.
Swiss.
And yeah, Swiss German. And let's see. Then I got a beat machine and I got a beat making keyboard. And I started getting into bands and using my voice.
How old were you when you got the beat making machine?
19, 20. It was the MC303 groove box. You should pull up an MC303 groove box. They're pretty primitive.
When I got to hear that, the first recordings that you did recently.
Yeah, I pulled out
really cool.
I pulled out the old recordings of
Just talent straight from the beginning.
I was very hungry. My voice is a lot higher.
Yeah.
It's called the Roland MC303 groove box. You'll see my first instrument. And
there's some people with just straight talent, and I think that you're probably one of those people who just has talent.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to
off the one.
Thank you.
Not everybody has
same
that.
For you guys. It's like I kind of at sometimes I wish I had learned an instrument from maybe in my teens at least.
Yeah.
Or a piano or something. I
wish I had taken
cool.
choir.
Yeah. But then it just evolved and snowballed into where I'm sitting here doing this podcast.
Yeah, like when we were young and we didn't have to pay rent. Like you, I know you'd spent time practicing and stuff, but now that's one of my regrets as looking back on my youth is like, I didn't have bills. I should have been practicing.
I mean, imagine if we had all been given our respective.
Look at him.
You know, that's me when I'm like 30 something.
If you can go back, you would.
I would probably pick the piano or something like that, but.
Piano is the map.
Honestly, the sports got me to where I am now. Like I think that the sports, I was the chatterbox on the baseball field. I was like, "Come on, buddy, here we go!" Like all the whole time.
So all three of us were athletes.
Yeah, and every team I ever was on, I always got most inspirational player. Mm-hmm. Like that was the award I always got.
Really good pep talks.
I'm a pep
all
talker.
The time.
Yeah. So that was my instrument.
You got that pep.
Right.
You're peppy.
I can be.
As a cheerleader, I will recognize your pep.
I got pep. Thanks, boo.
You both have considerable pep.
Respect the pep.
Respect the pep, baby.
Chris Poppin, pep talking.
Yeah. So that was my instrument was the mic and the groove box and making beats and trying to find stuff to rap on and everything. And I used the sports sort of like you. I felt sort of isolated on the where I was. I felt like the Cascades was blocking me. There was no internet.
Yeah,
so
you grew up in Eugene.
Yeah, I grew up in Eugene, Oregon.
It's a pretty big city, but
outdoor arts community. You know,
yeah,
it's a cool city to grow up in. It's a great incubator for ideas. But we would get live shows. There were peers doing things, so I was a little more encouraged to go out and start shit.
Well, Eugene was the next town over from Reedsport that had any considerable size.
Yeah.
There was Coos Bay,
which
had no cultural diversity, basically a bigger Reedsport.
Yeah.
But Eugene was where there's several different colleges. University of Oregon is there.
There's 90,000 college students that land there every year.
Mm-hmm.
And plus the Oregon Country Fair is a huge
Oregon
cultural
Country Fair
generator.
Yeah, hippies, organic kombucha, everything.
Can't wait to go back.
I lived on...
Anarchists.
Yeah, my parents split
Delicious
sides.
anarchists.
My parents divorced. And I lived with the poor welfare kids half the time and the rich athlete kids half the time.
That's kind of me. When I was 14, I lived with my dad in this big 5-bedroom house for most of the week. And then I'd go hang out with my mom in the trailer park by the bay.
Yeah. So for me, it was like my dad was where the welfare kids lived. So I was the richest kid on the block with the welfare kids.
Slinging sandwiches.
And then I go to my mom, and we were, she's 2 kids, single mom raising us. And we were the poorest kids of the rich kids. So it was like this flippity flop and the flippity flop. And I would see the differences.
Like yin and yang.
Yeah, I would see the differences.
The richest of the poor, poorest of the rich.
Yeah, back and forth, like from fireworks scene, how many fireworks kids would get, how they would get them. Like we'd take our cans back to buy like a few fireworks. Like, oh my God.
That's what it's all about.
Right. So my instrument is just from human empathy and awareness, and like seeing people and like hearing them and then trying to voice what they're saying. That's basically where all my tone comes from.
Empathy.
Sometimes it's strong and sometimes it's weak, but my empathar is usually pretty on. What was that? What was this? We were on tour.
Empanadar.
No, Empanadar.
Serendipidar was. We had our. Yes. We went down to LA to do some cool shit, and all these serendipitous things were happening. Eventually, we just realized we had my serendipidar was popping. Yeah. It was just like everything was serendipitous. Every little moment, it just felt so crazy, and I was like, my serendipidar is popping off. But so then I did all the music things. I moved all over the state of Oregon.
Yeah.
Played in multiple venues with multiple bands. Started a lot of shit. Made a lot of shit happen. Then I met you, and I left that whatever that was to be here.
It was a lot.
With you.
You built a really huge foundation.
I came here to be with you, and not sure where. I just put it to fate. I didn't know what was going to happen. And that's how I got to Southern Oregon. I was like, I guess I'm living in Southern Oregon now. And on a farm, I felt the vitamin D. It was awesome.
But that foundation that you had built, that you've been building for a long time, is still you. It's still there with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But people come and go, but you still have that. You still have that foundation.
Yeah.
But that's how I got here. And my story of how I got here with what I had, like the foundation I built, that's that story. But when you guys got here, from LA, you had to start building your foundation. And that's what I want to know. Like when you came here, how did you start building? Like you start, we'll get onto the 100-watt mind, right? That's how you started building your foundation. But what did you do musically? Is that when you started playing your instrument?
Not quite. No, I had moved to Southern Oregon, and it took me couple years to even realize, hey, this music thing is something that I could maybe do. Yeah. Because I was going to Indubious shows, and that was kind of my first exposure to like a cool music scene where people were welcoming and open and loving and encouraging, and I was seeing how fun that kind of lifestyle is, being on the road and going and doing shows and all the things and recording, I was watching them do it, and at the same time, as a music lover, I would listen to a lot of Bob Marley, and then my taste expanded into the reggae realms, and I was listening to lots of.
Blew your brain open?
Oh, Midnight. Then Eddie and Helena showed me Midnight. We met Ed and Helena, and then through the Dutch Brothers reality, I got a job at Dutch Bros here in Grants Pass when I moved here and started building these cool friendships. That's where I met Jared Masters, who became one of my best friends. And
is he a Dutch bro?
Yeah, he's a Dutch bro.
You guys worked in the first Dutch Brothers coffee booth downtown.
Yeah, the first location.
The first location, G, yes. Together.
Yes.
On 6th and G.
Yeah, about 2009, 10.
2009, 10.
And at the time, I was going to SOU, and relationships tend to end. But I loved Southern Oregon so much that I wanted to stay. So when things came to an end in that reality, I stayed, and I was finishing out my degree at SOU and living in Ashland at that point. And
what was your degree in?
Environmental science with a focus on ecology and conservation.
See, that's badass.
Yes.
Don't you think that's badass, Trev?
It's badass.
That's pretty badass. That involves walking long days out in the woods, right?
Yeah, well, ultimately, yes. Yeah, the degree didn't involve as much walking,
but so this is, to me, this is all gets us to the point. I want to know when you picked up the bass.
Yeah, so like I'm in college.
That's what I want to know.
Single life, start dating, and I start dating this guy who we get to talking, and by this point I had told my mom, I think I like this music stuff, and she bought me a ukulele. So I'm going to college, I have this ukulele. I'm playing Bob Marley songs on the ukulele, just like barely figuring it out.
Which ones?
No Woman, No Cry, I think was the first one I learned, because C, E minor, F, and G, like or classic. A minor and G. It's like really classic 4-chord strummer. And I was going through that, and I was starting to write like little songs. I had written like 1 or 2 little ditties, on my own. And I'm dating this guy. He comes over, and we get into this conversation how I like to play and sing. He said, "Oh, play something for me." So I did, and he looked at me like, "What? Hey, you're not that bad." And we get talking more, and I said, "Yeah, I thought maybe it'd be cool to play in a band with someone who played upright bass." And then he said, "Well, I have one. I play in this band." He played in a bluegrass band. And so we get to talking, and he brings this upright bass over that.
And how old were you when you touched this bass?
I must have been 23 or maybe 24 at the time.
24.
And he brought this upright bass over. I'd never played. The last time I played anything bass was as a kid on, to Blink-182. Mm-hmm. And so he taught me Beneath Still Waters, which is all open strings, like slow country ballad.
Okay.
And before I knew it, I was learning bluegrass standards and like country songs. And within a couple of months, I was in his country band.
Wait, hold on. So a couple months after picking, is this weird to anybody else? So a couple months into picking up the upright.
Yes.
Contrabajo, yes. Which is ironic. The way to say it in Spanish is contrabajo, but that also means with work.
Oh,
Con trabajo puedes hacerlo. So with work, you picked up the bass, and in 2 months, you were playing in a freaking band.
Yes.
What was the name of the band?
I had a knack for it. The name became Turner Moore Band.
And this band,
yes,
you played many shows.
Yes, we did.
Locally in Southern Oregon,
yeah,
right?
the project ran, I think, like 3 years.
So for 3 years, you were crushing shows on stage.
I just kind of found myself there.
Faking it till you make it.
Totally. Yeah, I was new to singing live.
I remember the first time I saw you. You
were
never faking it.
But you saw this.
I remember seeing you the first time I ever saw you, and I had kind of hung out with you a little bit, known you in Ashland, and I didn't know you played music. And then it's like, oh, here comes the Turner Moore Band. You're on stage at this music festival, and I'm like, I wonder how she'll do. And then you just started thumping, and I was like, oh my God, she's got it.
She's got it, right?
She just had it. It was
she
like,
has it.
I think there was a covering over the stage, but the sunshine was still shining down on you somehow.
That's amazing.
Just had it from the beginning.
So
I lucked
this
out.
moment, you saw her have it. Mm-hmm. Now, tell us the moment you saw him with Hunter Mine. Explain that experience.
Yeah. So as I said, I had moved to Ashland, freshly single. I had this cute little studio apartment on Squglio Boulevard, which is walking distance to downtown. So I go on this little walk. I'm like, I'm here. I'm going to go out. I'm going to see what's going on. And I walked up into what was Alex's bar at the time.
Which is now the Brick Room.
The Brick Room,
But back then it was Alex's.
Alex's.
And it's legendary, right?
It was
the spot.
Alex's,
Spot. That was the spot in Ashland to play.
Yeah.
Every
out
band,
to Charles.
Okay. Every band that was good in the Rogue Valley
played at Alex's.
Yes, that was the place to go. I walked up in there by myself, and I come up the stairs and look to the right, and there it's almost like my face started melting off right immediately. And there's this kick-ass rock band, and this guy shredding guitar, and this girl standing up on top of the bar, wailing like Janis Joplin or something. And I was like, holy shit, this is the best live music I've
and that
seen
was
in a long time. Like, that was the first live rock I had ever seen that I actually really, really, really liked.
And that was him.
And it happened to be him. And I'll never forget that moment of just like standing there like in awe, watching you solo and just feeling the wall of energy and intense vibration hitting my skull at the time.
That moment when you see somebody like that, I felt that moment with a few different musicians. Did either of you feel like I'm going to play with that person someday when you saw each other? Honestly.
For me, no, because I wasn't a musician yet that was so far beyond.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
I just thought she had this extreme talent that was.
Yeah.
It was talent. It was just like God given, like
raw as fuck.
Well, maybe star power.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I never had anticipated to play with her.
So when you're there and this is before you even got into the Turner Moore Band, right? Mm-hmm. When you saw him. And so you were in How long was? Can we pull up some footy of the 100-watt mine, Trev? And so this band, 100-watt mine. All right, we're gonna get in this band, okay? How many years did you put into this band?
Let's see, 100-watt mine. Well, it started as a different name.
Okay, what was that?
It started as a band called Brenna Dean and the Sympathetic Strings, or, if you will, Badass. Badass.
Got it.
Yeah.
When did it become 100-watt mine?
Well,
why do we keep seeing this, Trev? No, all we see every time you put up something is just me when I'm
your beautiful face,
overweight and not stoked on my health. There we go. There's Skylar playing the guitar. That's what I'm talking about. This is what you saw right here, right, Em? You walked down the tunnel into there. That's that's what you saw. Is this guy?
I was like, well, it was that first time. It was Cole on drums.
Who's right here, Skylar? That's you, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Shredding.
Look at the beard on that guy. That's Brenna Dean.
Brenna Dean blew my mind.
That's the girl.
Yep.
Shout out Brenna Dean.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's
so on the drums is Robert Morris.
Okay.
On the bass is Nate Herlocker, and that's Tunnel 13. We're back in the 1890s, I believe it was.
Serendipitar's going off there.
Creatures. That was our album name.
Album was called.
And now we're playing in Free Creatures. It's really strange.
Crazy.
I didn't plan that out, just so you know.
That's crazy.
Oh, look at her. She's really going for it.
Whoa. Honestly, really of all the musicians I've heard about in Southern Oregon, she's the one I have never seen.
Mm-hmm.
And you're missing out.
I would love to see her perform sometime. I've heard nothing but stories. So this is the band you're rocking in. Literally, how many years did this project?
So 2009 is when we started doing shows as Brenna Dean and the Sympathetic Strings. By 2010, we had changed our name to 100-Watt Mind.
Okay.
And that went till New Year's Eve 2018.
Damn, so you put in 9 years on that project.
Yeah.
What was your role in that project?
I was primary songwriter.
Okay.
Brenna and I collaborated on the songwriting process, but I wrote most of the chord progressions. I would come up with a riff, have a chord progression, have a melody.
Okay.
She would write the lyrics a lot. Sometimes I would write the lyrics.
Okay.
She wrote about 70% of the lyrics I wrote.
Okay. That's awesome. And you would do other things because we both know what it means to be in a band for 8 years.
Yeah, I booked I was essentially the manager of 100-Watt Mind for a long time.
Booking, right?
Booking, yeah. And then people would do social media for us, like the bandmates. Usually Nate Herlocker, who is my friend from Reedsport, who I brought from Reedsport.
Yeah.
And he was just moved back, broke up with his girlfriend. I was going back to Reedsport to hang out, and I was like, "Hey, dude, you want to play bass in my band?" And he's like, yeah. So he came down to Ashland and moved in with us and started training him up. He was this really talented kid who, while I was going to SWAC studying music, he was coming over and learning songs and stuff and getting into it. So
that's one of the things I appreciate about what you bring to the band is that I don't feel like you're just here playing guitar. I feel like you've got that mentality that it takes to, the booking, the planning, the strategy. That's why it's been a pleasure to have you in the band. I think I speak for Emily too. Is that you're not just here to play the guitar. You're you think because you did it for 10
you manage your
years.
stuff, right? You manage your stuff. I did the same thing.
Yeah, the one thing I always ran into is to make something happen, you got to really get it. You got to go. You got to do everything. And if sometimes it feels like you're lifting something on your shoulders by yourself, but with just for people at home, that's one thing I really enjoy about this group and being in this group is everybody's playing a huge part. It's not on me and it's not on just you and it's not on just you. We all pitch in. That's a fun fact for y'all is that we all try and use our skills, aces in their places to make it happen. So you were crushing that project. You were crushing Turner Moore Band and then that dissolved.
Yes.
Correct, but you continued on with your bass playing.
I did, yeah.
What happened?
The drummer from Turner Moore Band, Mike O'Donnell, and I kept woodshedding. And Jeremy Hickman for a while kept playing for us, or with us, and then a couple other adaptations of that. Started playing with Nick Kirby too, and then one fateful day, I reached out to Jared Masters and was like, "Yo, let's collaborate," because he and I were tight buddies at Dutch Brothers. We always got along great. Yeah. And he was in the band The Illies, which I loved, and I saw that.
That's my favorite. That was my favorite Southern Organ band for years.
Same.
He was our first guest.
Yeah, Jared.
That was my first interview. Was Jared?
Jared freaking Masters.
Jared
love him so
Masters, man.
My
Shout
brother.
out, Jared.
He's a
What's
master.
up, man?
Brosif.
Now, that guy's a master.
And you were in a group called Verbs Announced. You got some video there, Trev? Verbs Announced?
He and I both happened to find ourselves with a lapse in our projects. I think the Illies was taking a break, and I said, hey, we should collaborate. And he started sending beats over, and, so we started collaborating a little bit. He came out to the farm one night. We were sitting out watching a star, what's it called when stars fall? It's a meteor shower.
Meteor shower.
And we were like, yo, we should like make a band. And then all these shooting stars happened, and we were like, yeah, this is a good sign. So we made Verbs and Nouns. We were eating sushi at Cheese Street. And
all right. Right across the street from here.
Yeah, thinking about band names. And he was like, Verbs and Nouns. And we were like, yeah.
So you took what you learned and the fire to produce and create music. Yeah. And you called on an old friend.
Yes.
And you started a group called Verbs and Nouns.
Yes.
And this is you and
called
Jared.
For my brother, who I felt so comfortable with, and it was really like a natural creative chemistry that we had and comfortability with working together, and it made for a really nice recipe for writing. And
you guys dropped an album.
Yeah, we dropped an album. We have a bunch of stuff recorded that nobody's heard, which is amazing. And we were playing a lot locally and
played shows.
Yeah, it was awesome. Got to branch into a new style, which I really vibed with a lot more than the bluegrass and country.
And that's sort of the time that I was playing with We Tribe.
Yes.
Okay, so can you go to this is Emily's, look at her, just singing to me. Can you go to Marv Ellis and We Tribe? So so at this time I was touring down there while you were with 100 Watt Mine, you were with Verbs and Nouns. This was my band, and I think it's cool that I still have an upright bass in my band.
Yeah.
My band. I think that's kind of cool. This was my squad. We had me.
You guys are the coolest.
We had Dorian Crow, upright jazz performance bass artist playing jazz bass. I was the lyricist, songwriter. We had my DJ who toured with me for 10 years, Deviate. We had Sage, a legendary beat maker from Oregon, using the ASR 10 hand rocking drums. We had Matt Culkins, probably my favorite saxophone. Can you wheel it back just a little bit more from where we're beating the shit out of that lawnmower so we can actually see some instrument? There we go. There's Dorian, there's Deviate, the DJ, there's Sage hand rocking the beats, and there's some duck hunt guns. We were having fun with it. There's that. Matt. Matt is the most.
Matt's so nice.
Beast mode, nice guy. He's like the nicest beast ever. And we were all just doing it. We were touring and we were playing all over. And I came down, and that's how I met. That's how I met you.
Yeah.
I got to play at the Lounge South. Thanks. What up, Neil? Thanks for introducing me to my wife.
Magicaro?
Yeah. He brought us down. He was like, I think Ashland will really vibe on you guys. And you guys did down here. And we played a lot of shows. So at this time, this is the other 3 projects we're doing. I'm doing this. You're doing Verbs and Nouns. And you're doing 100 Watt Mind. Are we caught up here?
Yes.
Same page. Okay, so that's how we all got here. Now, what got you to the Free Creatures? What was the path that brought you from ending it with 100 Watt Mine, and like how did it come about?
Well,
where you heard about us?
Essentially, I was gung ho with 100 Watt Mine.
Yes,
I was going for it. It was my group. I wrote the songs. I booked the shows, and that essentially ended when Brenna stopped playing with us.
Okay, the lead singer.
Yeah.
Okay,
and that was our last show was 2018.
New Year's Eve.
Gotcha. So going into 2019, I was playing with Frankie Hernandez a lot at that time.
Who we just had last podcast.
Yeah.
And you played the last show.
Yeah, and we'd do like 100 shows a year. We were like a working band, gigging band.
That's like 2 a week.
That's a lot of shows.
A lot of shows. And so
he is an institution.
He is absolutely an institution.
Yes.
Maddie Narmis from Indubious,
Shout out.
who was hanging out with you guys, friends with you guys, invited me to come see a show that he was supposed to play at the Brick Room, which he didn't play, but you two had apparently played together. And that's when I came up to you and saw you. I was like, we should jam sometime.
Yeah.
And you said, yes, we should. And I gave you my number. And then so within a week, I was over there jamming with you and Maddie, and just seeing how it would go.
Yeah.
And it was going good. And then hanging out with Marv Ellis there.
Yeah.
You were came around the corner with your
video camera,
your boom boom stick. With
I was just so proud because honestly, the reason
it out.
I was just
you rolled me a cig that day.
Yeah, I was stoked that you were getting to play your music again.
Yeah, we were running through some Emily songs.
Yeah, during that time, you had written a ton of music.
Yes.
And you had never really got to...
I was doing some looping sets by myself,
Yeah.
and I had written a bunch of originals, but nothing, I couldn't ever really get it together in a band situation.
And you were still doing these looping sets. Mm-hmm. And then we were, and I was living with you, and then I think the song that kind of set this whole thing in motion was... We're working out in the smoky shit smoke of the forest fire. Can you pull up Burning Up there, Trev?
Yeah, Burning Up.
So this song, I'm in my studio just venting, trying to get through the feelings of,
Well, and you had moved to Southern Oregon so that we could grow a crop together.
Well, that wasn't my
Well, also...
I didn't move here to grow a crop.
To be together, but also that's what we were working on.
I moved here to be with you and encounter my first smoky, shitty... forest fire summer.
We were working out in the farm with that.
And this is what it was like. Every day we'd go out with our gas masks and we'd go tend to the crop. And in my mind, I'd always made videos and I was thought of production value, what is to smoke out the sky would cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars, or I could just use this for free. And this song came to me about how the world's burning up. And I asked you if you wanted to be on it, and you were playing ukulele in the living room, and you said yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you came in and you played, and then that's where this came from. Yes. And then we took this song and made the Free Creatures with it.
Yes.
And we made a weekly, and we vibed together. And
we
there
were
was
just trying to build something.
And honestly, there was all this pressure being together because I knew she was a great musician in my mind. I knew she had that thing that you saw that night, right? I knew that. And
Star power.
Yeah, and she knew that I did music. But there,
I knew. I was a big fan of
But
yours.
there wasn't any pressure. I felt like there was it was like when we make a song together, it will happen organically.
Yeah. That's a scary sound. What is that?
You didn't hear that? Listen.
Yeah. Organic.
So
that's a nasty
it's from Mad
sound.
Max. It's from Mad Max.
Oh my
So we
God.
organically,
Nasty.
this came together organically.
Yes.
Right? And then from that spawned the weekly, which
Yes.
you came to see.
Yeah, with Narmis.
Right.
Maddie Narmis.
Right. And so this song right here is the genesis of Free Creatures.
Yes.
Burning Up. You can check it out. It's on our Free Creatures album.
Yeah, this was our first collab.
It's our first collab, which became...
I was so excited about that because I was a fan of yours for a long time. Basically, as soon as I moved to Southern Oregon, my friends that I made were like, hey, check out this awesome rapper dude from Eugene. And what's the video of you and you're riding in the back of the truck? Broke People?
Broke People?
We watched that video a bunch of times.
Really?
Yeah, we were like, this guy's awesome.
That video sucks so
we
bad.
And we traveled up on a New Year's Eve just to watch you open for Gift of Gab.
No, he opened for me. Literally.
Oh, okay, well.
It was the greatest honor of my life.
Well, we watched that show where it was you and Gift of Gab.
Yeah.
And so I was very much aware. I just thought you were married already. So I was just like an actual genuine fan.
Well, I would wear
I wasn't crushing. I was just like, oh, this dude's sick.
I would wear a wedding band with a music note, like I was married to music.
Yeah.
But seriously, come on, man.
Sorry.
Come on. So I came down here, did that.
Yeah.
That happened.
Getting to collaborate with you was very exciting.
Yeah.
At that point.
And then the reception that we received from that is completely the fire that pushed us forward.
Yeah.
And it felt like as we were building this weekly, we had a weekly going on, right, with Alcyon, who we've had as a guest here. And that's where you came, asked to jam, and Maddie.
Yeah, and Felix Free.
Joined
us a few times.
Yeah, we'd have
Maddie was my friend. I played with him with Frankie and saw him in Dubious a lot of times.
Yeah. And he would come through, and we built this weekly up, and it didn't really feel like Ashland, like the people, the culture and the scene in Ashland seemed like it kind of, ironically at the same time as the rec legalization, but it seemed like the people and the culture that was there kind of like vacated the city a little bit.
There was a major shift in about 2013,
You felt that, right?
For sure.
And that was coincidentally right at the time rec was, so all these growers and people living in the city, like
it's not a coincidence. It's
also
totally linear.
I feel like when Alex's left, it changed. We got gutted a little bit.
Yeah. Alex's was Rome. Alex's was the connecting fabric that held the music scene of Southern Oregon together.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it closed, it smashed the music scene and it all fragmented.
Yeah.
How ironic is it that in a city that's known for its performing arts, they don't you can't really get the band live music.
It's known for its performing arts in the way that Shakespeare is a performing art.
Yeah.
And, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't music a performing art?
It is, but it's not what brings all the money into Ashland. Shakespeare Festival is what brings the money to Ashland.
So it's beneficial for Ashland to not support live music, but support just the tourism that comes through for the Shakespeare thing.
Correct.
Boom. Got it. Facts. So that's what happened in the music scene in Ashland. The weed got legalized. Everybody moved out and put cameras up on their grow ops. And the city took advantage of that and pushed even further into the Shakespeare tourism plan.
So it seems.
So it seems.
If we will ever know, I don't know.
And the retirement factor.
Mm-hmm.
Retirement.
It's a retirement community.
Like the Brick Room's still a pretty awesome venue.
It's amazing.
Especially with the remodel.
Oh yeah,
it's I don't know, something.
It's not like there's like
kind of
15,
lacking. Like the sound lounge is gone, and you can't really play at the Armory. Caldera's gone.
Gone. Yeah, I played shows there.
Taboo is gone.
What's gone?
The big Caldera's gone.
No, the downtown music venue is they're not doing music there anymore.
Yeah.
It just seems like
five music venues in downtown Ashland, and they would be doing music Friday, Saturday nights, and they would be packed. Yeah. When I first moved here 12 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
So we threw that weekly to get tighter.
Yeah.
And to develop our Free Creature sound.
Yes.
Without calling us Free Creatures.
You had already had a music thing together at that point.
Yeah, we're kind of mashing it up.
I didn't know that.
A few months.
Yeah.
Like 6 to 8 months, we had been doing some shows. We had played the Holt Center, and we played a couple things in Eugene, right?
No, we did not.
We played at what?
No, we didn't do that. The Holt Center was the tour where we were the Free Creatures. We had music, and we opened for the Shook Twins at the Holt Center and then at the Armory. But that was without him. So we did the
Skylar.
weekly. We had this weekly, and we built our set, right?
Oh.
And then we kind of like the weekly. I remember one weekly we had Alcyon, you, me, Maddie, Jackson. Ground game was spinning.
Tony, remember Tony would play on saxophone.
Tony, and we got $5, five $1 bills as our payout
at the Brick Room.
At the Brick Room.
Oh man, that's shiesty.
And I gave everybody $1. I was like, remember this dollar bill. Remember when I said that? I was like, remember this dollar bill. Yeah. I guarantee you always say, put it on your wall. Use it as motivation.
I spent that bitch.
Probably on Dutch Bros.
So we build the weekly. We get this little Free Creature thing going. It's starting to move forward, right? Yeah. We go up and play the Shook Twins basement party, right? And that's when they're like, yo, what's up? You want to go on tour with us? We meet Rush there, the filmer. What's up, Rush? The guy who made that video. And then we start infusing Skylar. He starts becoming part of it.
You started coming out and rehearsing with us in like March or April, right?
Well, yeah. After I hit you up to jam, you guys had to practice. I was like, man, the jam went so well, and I figured that if I hit you up to jam, and maybe it would go good, maybe it wouldn't. What do I got to lose? And I would be able to maybe form a relationship musically with you, and then also get in touch with you.
Yeah. And Maddie said to me, I don't think that I'm the musician that Free Creatures needs. I think Skylar is.
I didn't know that. He said that to you.
Maddie, I had I have many talks on the farm, walking in circles out on the farm. And one of them was that one. It was, I think that Matty Armas has motherfucking integrity, bro. He's one of those musicians. He's like, honestly, Skylar's just a little better addition. I think it would be, because he's drumming and I'm drumming too. I'm a drummer with the MPC, right? So he's like, you're already So, hence us pulling you into what we were doing. And at that time, we had written mostly all the album.
Yeah.
Right?
So my first time coming to Jam,
yeah,
which was to basically hang out with both you guys.
Yes.
And try to see what would happen. See if I could hang out with you, see what it would be chill. I thought the music was really, really good. You know, I thought we had something very special. And I didn't know that you guys had Free Creatures at that point. I didn't know that you were actually playing together the thing, other than that weekly thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, Emily, let's jam again. And you're like, well, I got to practice I got this band with Marv Ellis called Free Creatures. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And you said you're playing at like the Holt Center and
Yeah.
you know, at the Ashland Armory. And I'm
remember
like, well,
Marv-
that's big stuff.
Marv was like, if you come and play with us, we'll get really big gigs. I swear, we're gonna play at this Holt Center, so we could get really big ones. You were like kind of pitching it to Skylar, like, come and play with us. I swear, we'll get good gigs.
I knew from the beginning that that the combination of what we all have is unfuckwithable, and I knew that if we combined powers, that it would be something that nobody's ever heard.
Yeah, and
for multiple reasons.
You were right.
One of them, I mean, I remember telling Steve, "What up, Steve?"
Steve.
Wowza.
Family.
Wowza. Sweat Lodge Steve. I remember telling Steve that watch. I was like, watch what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee, give us 1 year, we'll be getting $2K a gig. Watch. And he was like, yeah, we'll see, bro. We'll see what you ready to do. And I was like, no, we'll see. And then boom. And we made this album when we were harvesting hemp.
Yeah.
we were farming so hard. It took us a couple years to put together this music, but we did, and we got it in the hands of James Book.
Yes.
From Top Secret Productions, right? And we were traveling to Eugene and recording, finishing some songs. I was burning down stems from my studio, half the album in our house, in my studio. And we brought that stuff to James, and he polished it up onto Pro Tools. Then we called the infamous one and only David Way. Thank you, David Way. Shout out, David Way. And he mastered our album. And before he did that, we had you come over, and we set up this crazy setup for the guitar. And you just walked in like a Jedi, and you're like, do you need, what sort of guitar playing do you need? And we're like, can you shred on this and shred on that? And then how long was your session that day?
Maybe a couple hours.
Couple hours. In a couple hours, you added all this amazing stuff to our album that made it sound like you wrote the entire album with us the whole time. It was awesome.
For me, it was very much an honor to play on the album.
Yeah. And it was a really cool day. And I remember that. And then
because when I was in Southern Oregon, that's when I started to pay attention to the music scene.
It's your cup.
You were on all the posters you were like doing big stuff. And I was like, who's this Marv Ellis guy? But you were on the top of all the posters.
Yeah.
Always. And you had like your posters had this sort of magical influence to them that I remember.
It was a gradient color. That was my strategy.
Well, it was amazing. And then Emily, you know, like I always respected her musicianship and thought she was really good.
Yeah.
So when you guys started playing together and I hit you up to jam, and then you hit me up, you're like, well, come over and jam again. And then the next time it was in the Owl's Nest.
Yeah.
Which is our current rehearsal space. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It's not in the same in the living room this time, and
with the dogs crawling all over everything, and the cats
then,
crawling.
No, it was cool. I liked it before too, but it felt a little bit different. And it came up, and you had your MPC set up, and I'm like, this is a little different environment.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've been in this position where I'm, and he started playing these different songs, like these actual songs, instead of us just kind of like, and I was like, oh, we're recruiting. This is an audition.
And we're grooming.
And I was like, when I realized that, I was like, look, guys, I'm looking to get into a band that wants to do dope shit.
Yeah.
And I'm looking to do dope shit, and I'll do whatever you want me to. So I'll play whatever you need me to play in whatever way you need me to play it.
What do you wrote on our bio? What do you call us now? Because we've talked in the car so many times, going to so many shows now.
3-piece powerhouse.
A 3-piece powerhouse
of EDM, hip hop, and psych
rock.
Wow, that's a good.
Yeah. It's hard to explain it. That's us.
Yes. Look at us looking all cute.
Yeah, I'm holding a television with Skylar's face. Yeah, so this is the squad. Three people making a lot of noise. That's been our thing. And it's, for me personally, being able to play an instrument with you guys is a completely new experience. I've done so many shows where I'm up the front with the, like all those posters you saw, but now I'm a rookie. This is my first band where I'm playing an instrument, and I'll tell you what, it's very different to be on stage and be like dropping drums and dropping them out.
You didn't have the MPC before?
Never had an MPC before, and I didn't want to be the cliche hip hop MPC guy. Never really wanted to be cliche anything with hip hop. Because I'm from Eugene. I want to rap how I talk and like just be a Eugene rapper and till I die. See what happens, But then now I'm on stage with the MPC and I'm looking at you and I'm dropping bass lines with you and you're like,
we're hitting hits together.
Yeah, it's like a totally different experience for me. And so for me, playing music with you, can you pull up that stream of us from the Reverbia? So getting to actually be on stage with you guys and play an instrument, make up for the reason, like, see my stand there. I kind of drop, I get to drop the beats. I still get to be I'm like a DJ drummer, right?
Yeah.
I get to produce DJ drum, and then I get to do my, DJ dance around my stand, and, but I also get to rap and sing with you.
Yeah.
And then Skylar's there sort of gluing it together.
I love the fusion of the electronic, like dance music with the beats, electronic beats, but then real instruments with that.
Yeah.
It's just a nice hybrid of human and machine that really makes it feel relevant to what's going on right now. Because in pop music right now, there's just so much electronic synths and everything. And
it's definitely got you. And also every single female singer I ever hear in a band is singing funk, rock, soul, and you're singing jazz, soul, like jazz.
Yeah, because I literally can't physically sing like that. So much respect to those women that can push it and belt it like that. But that's just not my style.
That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not clear. There's nothing happening in my mind that's cliche up here. And there's nothing that's a gimmick, but each of us has a gimmick that's natural. So it's not a gimmick. Or the gimmick is just that we are who we are, and that's what's beautiful about this to me.
My gimmick is that I'm just a real motherfucker.
Playing a guitar upside down left-handed. That's who you are. But
that's just how I learned.
But that's pretty interesting.
Out of spite.
That's interesting. And then like Emily, I don't know a lot of females that play upright bass like you do, that sing like you do, that write like you do, that have a voice like you. You're very, very rare.
Thank you.
You're a very, very rare breed. And then for myself, I don't know a lot of rappers that rap how they talk, and that are from where I'm from, that can dance on the mic like I can if I need to,
And not to mention the freestyling capabilities.
And freestyle, but that's just part of being an MC. Like a real MC is you got to be able to talk about what's happening in the room, and then knowing how to drop beats in and out and stuff, and like jam with you guys and bring hip hop to what you guys are doing. That's what I try to bring. And
we're a mesh of all of ourselves.
Yeah, we're just being us. And that's what I find.
You skip a lot of steps by just being yourself.
Yeah.
Pretty much in anything that you do.
Yeah.
And when you combine people that are themselves, you skip that many steps times 3.
Yeah.
That's like 70,000 steps or something.
Trigonometry. Can you pull up trigonometry graphics, Trevor, so we can look at
trigonometry?
So where are we at? Where are we at? I'm losing track of this thing. I'm trying to conduct an interview about us. And so we've talked about our origins, talked about what got you to here, and then what got us to Free Creatures, right?
Yes.
So where are we going with this?
Well, in the last year, we've all released our own music.
Okay.
Right?
Let's talk about yours.
We got to where we are now, and then this last year, everyone's on pause. So
because of COVID.
What did we do when COVID hit? What were we doing? Let's pull up that all the things album cover. Let's talk, because we were at the part where we had the album.
We went on tour. We toured our new album.
Let's put that album cover up there. All the things, Trev. And so this is our album we put out.
All the things. Yeah. We recorded it with James Book. Skylar came in at the end and infused it with his magical goodness.
Yeah, you should notice the creature paws. Thank you, Wade.
We started doing more gigs throughout 2019, leading up to the winter of 2020, where we really released the album. We released several music videos. We played awesome gigs at like Wanderlust and Trinity Hot Springs and
Country Fair.
Country Fair was a great moment.
Was an awesome moment. And then we
went on tour.
We went on tour and
down to LA and back.
Went to Santa Monica and then Area 101 and then
that's the trippiest venue.
And so in Area 101 we met a gentleman named Chang, and he said he liked us, and then and then COVID hit.
Yeah, COVID hit.
And we kept in contact with this gentleman. There's us playing on a river. Thank you, Rush, for this.
One of the music videos.
One of the music videos. Get that.
Look at that water.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
That water is Rush Sturgis.
Yeah.
That is. White salmon.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's the
That
prettiest
girl
place I've
ripped
ever
it.
seen.
She
was so happy.
Yeah.
I love that.
She overcomes her fear. It's the song's all about. Why don't you leave it here for a
Leave
second?
it playing, Trevor.
Yeah, because I'm about to jump off a 70-foot cliff.
Look at that greenery.
And not many people know that I'm also a cliff jumper. I'm going to do a forward flip with a lazy boy on and then land it.
It's a very Oregon video.
Yeah, we
I guess, we were in Washington technically, right?
Yeah, we incorporate nature into all our videos so far.
This right here, this is Oregon.
Yeah, this is Oregon. Vibes. It's a vibe.
Because this is the Hood River. That is Washington. That's white salmon.
Yeah.
White salmon.
That's
but this is Oregon, yeah. So yeah, so I'm about to jump off this cliff right here. Right here.
God,
Here we
don't
go.
do
I'm
it.
jumping.
70 feet off of a river
Yo!
full of chocolate milk. Chocolate milk.
Sploosh.
How did you
my
do that, dude?
God.
Oh man, it was terrifying.
Why would you do that?
I'll do anything for a
Coming up
video.
like
I'll do anything.
crazy person.
Huh?
Who was that actually?
What?
What do you mean?
How dare
What are
you?
you talking about?
What are you talking about? So there's Emily. There's Mount Hood.
Rush, put your clothes on.
That's living my
No. That's Mount Hood. This is like it was very cold. The water was very
It's
very
actually
cold.
Hood River. Right
I
there.
haven't watched this in a long time.
Yeah, we ran across a journey, a traveling group of
Extreme
gypsy cliff jumpers, and they, and then Emily. This is one
That's
of
my
my favorites.
7th grade trumpet dreams right there.
Yeah, I'm not in Alaska anymore. Oh man.
What was it?
dancing fool.
Izakala?
Yeah, Izakala, man, that dude, such a beast. He's Country Fair fam. We dressed in chromatic clothing.
This was our first video where we were styled.
Yeah, we had a stylist, Heather Wallen.
Heather Feather.
Heather Feather styled us out.
Heather Feather styled us out. That's us over the gorge. Skylar.
So fancy.
It was super fun. Can you go to the mystery
handmade
video
hat.
now?
So we were at this
That's
point.
so pretty.
We were really locking into our groove.
Yeah, we were like, we're a trio. That's Izakala, man. He's
At this
Skylar
point, how long
fully
we
in.
were 6 months into playing together
As
as
a
a
trio,
three-piece.
as a trio, and we were getting all sorts of shows too. Like people were
Yeah.
feeling the vibes because we could do dance parties, we could do,
Yes.
and we were playing with in front of really cool people, like you said, Wanderlust Festival. We did like the Thievery Corporation after party.
Yeah.
That was crazy
That
insane.
was
yeah.
awesome.
Just really weird things. Like I've been doing music a long time, and I've never seen the kind of response in any of the groups that I've received with this group.
Same here.
It was like instant, like, what do you guys need? How much money do you want? Here's a nice cabin to stay in. It was like everywhere we went, people showing massive love and support, and it just felt like this was the right thing.
Yeah.
And I was so sad when I couldn't be with the We Tribe anymore, but this made me understand that you don't know what life's going to give you. You don't know if anything's good or bad. Just hang on, and everything will happen the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, if you stick with it.
If you stick with it and just stick to your guns. And can we go to the mystery?
Which one is that?
Mystery video, Free Creatures? That's okay. So then Emily had to one-up me and jump into the Pacific Ocean in December 10th. So she's actually in the water in this next video, Mystery. But we just started building and making videos and investing our money into ourselves and believing in ourselves, right?
Yep. And then COVID started. So then we just kind of focused in on the studio.
Right.
And would get together every week or a couple of weeks and have studio sessions and rehearsals at home to stay tight just while we were waiting it out. And Skylar, I remember you'd come over and lay a guitar onto certain tracks, or you guys would have days where you would collaborate if I wasn't there, and then I'd come home to some delicious new beat and get to join in on it.
That's when we started writing music together.
Yeah.
That's
That
during
is.
COVID.
So all the things, we didn't get to really write together.
No,
Yeah.
that was you and Emily.
So, but when COVID happened, suddenly we're like, all right, I was like, I got a studio, let's go. And we just started recording and making songs. And we made about 12, 13, 14 songs. And of those, I think that we have 11 that we feel are pretty prime time.
Yeah.
And here's the mystery video. So we got lucky. We've been able to work with people like Shane Styles, Russ Sturgis, and we get to direct and help make these videos happen and help edit. And we brought in Felix Free, our boy
tight.
Felix Free. There's me and Free on the Rogue River, Steve Walzer, and
Shout out to the coast, Newport, Oregon.
yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
S&K Guy Services took me out on the Rogue fishing with Free, and we found some mushrooms. And we did this is now, the imagery you're seeing here is now being used to sell cars. So we were on the river, showing off Northwest life. There's Emily in the cold ocean. We're talking about fly fishing. We're talking about Oregon things. And there's me in the aquarium at Newport, snuck into the aquarium in the morning to film that.
Gorilla status.
A lot of gorilla filming.
Yeah, I made that dress.
Emily made that dress. And then and then here we are, Newport.
She's a seamstress.
Yeah, and Rush came through. This is a collab with Shane Styles and Rush. They both helped make this pop off. Skylar, we start to infuse Skylar into our music videos, letting people know that he's a part of this group. We want it to be. We don't want it to be just me and Emily. We want it to be me, Emily, and Skylar. Right?
Yeah,
we wanted to show the world. There's Cirque, Fire Dancers. We have a lot of cool artist support. Around the state. I know that's a fact. A lot of people like S&K Guide Service. You see Free fly fishing in the background, bobbing his head, smoking a tree.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like a lot of the connections that we've benefited from stem from the massive network that you've built through your music, Garrick.
Yeah, but what's mine is
like
yours.
all the country fair fam with the fire crew and the festival to show people and like.
But guess
everyone at the spoken word camp and your Eugene people, like it's just a really huge network of supportive, creative people that surround you, and that's one of the things that.
But when I proposed to you on that
appreciate
Guatemalan temple, I was offering you all of that.
Well,
it's yours. What's mine is yours.
Here is my network.
You may have my network. I would like to offer my network.
Here, have my network.
And as you can see,
now I'm ready for the dancing.
I am ready for the dancing. Skylar is so much to us. He means a lot to us. He brings a lot of stable humor and stuff. But like, cool. All those things. That's just it's an honor to share those things with you guys because you guys both deserve it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
So we proceeded to make videos and we record an album. We have a new album.
Yeah.
We have got something pretty hot. And we have some songs that I would say are exactly a fine balance of all our influences and all our phenotypes making our own phenotype.
Yes.
Yeah, that and probably because of COVID, we were able to write that whole album
and record it. Like we didn't just write it; we record it. We have multiple tracks. We have songs.
That's the first time I've ever been able to write like that in a studio. In the home studio.
Yeah.
Right. That's what's so cool about it for me is we're recording in the bedroom.
Yeah.
In at home, actually doing it that way.
Yeah.
Independent indie artist status.
Yeah. And during this time, can you pull up Groundhog Day? I make a lot of music, and so my focus is primarily on Free Creatures and producing and mixing this because it's a lot of work to do that stuff. But then occasionally I'll make a fun song like this Groundhog Day song. So this is basically my album that I dropped during quarantine. I just made a nice video with Danielle Favela, the Danielorian. And I made a song called Groundhog Day, and I had a good time making it. That's all we're seeing is a salmon splashing in the water on the screen, Trev. I'm not really seeing the Groundhog Day video. But I do love salmon splashing on the screen. So this is Groundhog Day. I made this for fun and to put out some music for my fans. But this is my studio that's the studio where I recorded the whole Free Creature new album.
And half the old one.
Mm-hmm. And I record all my albums, all 12 of them I've made in there. And I got the quarantine beard, and it's the video about like what every day is like. Can you whip it back to the beginning of this? Because that's the studio, but where I'm having coffee, this is like what it's like waking up in our house.
Yeah, they were watching that when you started.
Oh, good. Then you don't have to do it. Yeah, this is So this is like our breakfast spot. We have a coffee machine. I wake up, and every day in quarantine life seemed like Groundhog Day. It just felt like I'm getting up. I have coffee. There's Emily.
It was a torturous hell.
It was different. It was like, this is a first world problem for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
A first world hell, but it's still like every day felt the same. And so I wanted to release a song to try and give some mental medicine to my people. And there's Em. She's just playing that bass, practicing every day. Trumpet, ukulele. You see all her instruments. That's her battle station.
Boom, 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 boom.
So while I'm doing this, right, Emily is for a year making her first solo album.
Yeah.
With Jared Masters from Verbs and Nouns.
Yeah, my homie, bro. Moved back. He had to move away, which is what dissolved
Yeah.
Verbs and Nouns in the first place. But he had to move back because of COVID. And I was like, what's up, homie? Let's record while you're in town. And so we got together once a week. This is a video from a song we recorded called Nectar.
Yeah.
And then I made a little music video collab with Shane Styles, and
You directed this and
I
edited
directed
this.
this and edited this video.
She produced, directed, edited, color corrected, everything. Wrote the
Yes,
song.
I made the backdrops, and Megan from Freckled Floors did all the flower design. Really, it all started because I saw a post that she shared on her social media.
Look at that. Just real quick, and you dropped it on International Women's Day, right?
I did drop it on International Women's Day. So this is one of the many songs that Jared Masters has produced of mine, but this one is not on the album that we recorded. Like, we're calling it an album just because we did this series like basically once a week. And
this is the video off your new album.
Yes, this is a video for the single called "As I Am"
This
off my album, which is called "Here." And so the single dropped on I think it was April 1st, and then the actual rest of the album drops May 1st on all the major platforms.
Okay, such a nice video.
It's a beautiful video. Marv, you made that with just about 45 minutes of flying the drone.
Yeah, I'm a drone guy.
We went out that day.
This is my quarantine thing. I learned how to fly a drone, and I just started filming.
My drone.
We went out that day without knowing what we were filming, and we just got some B-roll, and it ended up fitting perfectly on the song.
It's tight. This scene right here, especially. Look at that light.
Yeah, oh my God. Special. I like this where you peek through the leaves.
Oh yeah, a little whoop.
And then the big ad. Look at that big ad. These are our sunflowers you planted, right?
Yeah, this is our farm.
It's so cool. She planted all that food. There's Jack, our dog, right here.
There's the weeds growing too.
And then this is her marching through a dirty field.
It's just kind of, the song's called "As I Am," and it's just it's a whole little meditation about accepting yourself exactly as you are without any need for any betterment. Needing a time, because our society is really modeled around this self-help and self-betterment culture, and we're always pushing whether to be more fit or a better musician or a better producer or better whatever. We're always after better.
Yeah. I feel that societal pressure.
And I just needed a goddamn break from that one night, and that's the meditation that came out, was this
And
song.
you'd probably drop the line of the greatest line I've heard in a long time for anybody who's creative, that me and Felix Free, is what we say to each other all the time, is like, get up, get out of my own way. Just get out of your own way. Get out of your way.
Get up and get out of your
So
own
many
way.
times when I'm collaborating with somebody and there's the album
fuck
cover.
outta here.
That's the album cover.
Yeah, this is my album cover for
Fire.
Here. I'm calling it Here. Like, I'm here, but also like, here you go. Here you have.
Yeah. Here you have.
Here's
so
this
cool
gift
looking.
from me to
Isn't that
you
cool?
It's
to enjoy.
How did you get it to? Is that the?
It's a magic.
It's a magic.
It looks like a magic door.
It's a magic.
Yeah, it's a
that's
magic door.
my magic portal way.
Yeah. She
from
did
space.
She did all these things by herself. She did all like
Yes.
for
Well, this started as a collab because Andrew Lloyd wanted to put a backdrop in nature, and then I got it on the Pinterest. I'm a big Pinterest user.
That's very cool.
And I found a way to make it a solid backdrop instead of
So your album
yes
comes out May 1st.
May 1st on all the things: Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Deezer.
Cool. And
Deezer?
This is your first album, and just so you all know at home, Emily and I had a rule that I put into play. What was the rule, Emily?
You did not listen to anything on the album the entire time
Until
like a couple weeks ago.
it was finished.
Yeah, until it was all the way finished.
Until the album was finished, I did not hear it for a full year.
Yeah.
And we literally made sure that didn't happen. If she was playing something, I'd run out of the house.
Yeah, so it was a nice opportunity to, not that there's anything wrong with the situation, but it was just nice to have a project where I could do it, and it was my little art project.
You made that.
No influence from
I had nothing
anyone
to do
else.
with it.
You know, there was influence from Jared Masters because he collaborated on the production, but
I'm saying me.
it was like, yeah,
It's pure.
No Marv Ellis
No
influence
Marv.
on your
I did
album.
not touch her album.
Marv free.
It's Marv free.
Free Marv.
It's and then, but when I did hear it, she goes, "It's time," and I said, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yes." So I sat down on the couch, I listened to it, and there was a moment where I literally, I'm not lying, I'm not exaggerating, my breath was stolen from my chest.
Yeah,
That happened.
I'm very proud of that album.
It's a great album,
beautiful.
and it's coming out, and it's exciting. And you're gonna play one of your songs from your new album this Friday.
On Friday.
On Friday.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's not As I Am.
And it's not As I Am.
Yeah.
What are you gonna play?
It's called, I don't know. I think I ended up calling it Heaven Knows.
Heaven Knows.
I don't remember if I ended up actually calling it Heaven Knows or Devil Knows. We'll find out on May 1st.
Either way, it's exciting. It's exciting. So, also when COVID hit, I personally was sitting back watching like what's going to happen to our creativity, and I watched a lot of musicians sort of focus inwards on their projects. Like, if this world's ending and we're all going to die, what have I left behind?
Exactly.
And that feeling kind of sort of was happening around me, and so we all decided to focus on our solo projects, and you had been working on your solo album, and so you sort of released your album Patterns, right? Mm-hmm. During the COVID year, and you had made an album where you played all the instruments and wrote all the songs, and it's called Squglio. That's how you spell his name. Patterns.
Yep.
And
I didn't make it during COVID though. I released it during COVID.
You released it, but I had been
making it the year before, like 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are 6 songs that I wrote.
Yeah, and personally, I love your music.
Thank you.
I had a kind of a problem with you once I got your as you were showing it. You give us like a 3-tracker, and I'd pop it in there, and then I'd be singing the fucking hook over and over for days without music on, because
thank you.
That's
Yes.
And then so you started releasing these independent.
That's my boss in the devil costume. That's
all right,
Andy.
and this is a song for your song Bright Side.
Yeah, that's my song Brightside.
And you've been putting out you've got a band called Squglio and the Sketchy Kids.
Yeah, Skylar and the Sketchy Kids.
Skylar and the Sketchy Kids.
That's Joey. He's the bass player.
Okay. And you guys perform around here, and you've got your album. And tell us a bit about that project.
Well, it kind of started. I had wanted to like form my own band for a long time and kind of like write my own songs. And my friend John Mangiola is kind of the one who started it with me.
Okay.
And he saw me at a show. We were trimming weed together, and he came out to one of my shows, and he said, "You're like the only person around here that I've found that I'd actually like to play music with." And so I was kind of like, well, let's start a thing. I have some songs, and on the way he would drive us to work, and I would be like, "John Mangiola, let's start a band, huh?" Every day I was like, let's start a band.
Yeah.
And so we did, and I started showing him my songs. He liked them, and we started to piece together a group. And yeah, it's definitely different than Free Creatures. It's more so everything goes cyclically, right?
Yeah.
You learn something, and then you learn something the opposite, but then you learn it again. That's kind of how these songs are. When I first started my band in high school, it was much more like Strokes influenced, White Stripes influenced, kind of like indie music. And then so basically 10, 15 years later, I started writing again in that style. And that's what's on that CD.
Okay. And you recorded it where?
I recorded it at Nick Kirby's living room.
Kirby.
Nick Kirby.
Curbs.
Kirby.
The Curbs. We love Nick Kirby, right?
Yeah.
He's the man.
He was the engineer at Sylvia Massey's studio there in Ashland, and the original drummer for Journey. He recorded the original drummer for Journey's music album.
Okay.
Instrumental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was working with like a real deal cat.
Yeah. And then, so these projects, you've got that album, your album's about to drop.
Yeah.
Personally, myself, I have a lot of songs. I have an album, pseudo album, I give to my friends when they ask for it. That's pretty much where I'm at. At the moment, I'm currently focused on these 11 tracks that we recorded and getting them back to James Book, back to David Way. I'd love that to happen for us. So that's the goal. And we're thinking about dropping this as soon as possible, obviously, maybe in small chunks. Who knows? We just went to LA. We reunited with Chang, and we went to David Way's studio, and you recorded some jazz standards in a multi-Grammy winner studio. How'd that feel?
My palms were sweaty.
It was pretty. I was nervous
You
for
were
you.
sweating pretty
I
bad.
was pretty
You're very
sweaty.
Two
He had
things.
to be like, "Yo, do you want a little bit of whiskey or something?"
He had a
I was pretty
20-year-old.
nervous.
Had a 20-year-old Oban Scotch that Creed from The Office had given him.
I didn't even know he was recording.
So we're
half the
sipping
time.
Creed's Scotch.
Yeah.
You're in there. You got this guy who recorded TLC and Macy Gray.
I just had to keep
and
my eyes shut.
Spice Girls.
Spice Girls, everybody.
Yeah. Luckily,
Well,
he didn't tell me the Spice Girls thing till after I was done.
Till after you were a Spice Girl.
Yeah. So you're in there and you're playing. And I was first of all, there's two things that happened that day. One, I was so proud of you for stepping up and representing us for a guy that I have so much admiration for. And then the other thing was there's a amp simulator there that he had this fancy, cool amp simulator, and he plugged you into it. And I was sitting back watching him go through every amp. I think he had like 30 or 40 amps or 50 something programmed into it. And he would say, so this is like what so-and-so would use. And then you would play that style.
Yeah, that was cool.
And I was so proud. I was like, look at my boy. He's like calling out an amp, and Skylar's literally playing those flavors of that era and that player. Yeah. And that's one of the things for me that is special is like when I step on stage with you, I feel like I've got many, many different guitar players that have graced a guitar behind me.
Yeah.
Got my back. Because you
I
are
got your back, bro.
I know you're a conduit for not only yourself but for so many different flavors and sounds. And Trevor, would you not concur? I concur. So,
It's amazing. It makes the guitar laugh, cry.
yeah, it's really special. And so
I do the same thing with my family.
So he's real too. He's very real.
Okay, he's got jokes.
He's got jokes. He's funny.
I'm not kidding about that.
You're very serious.
That's not a joke.
It's not a joke. My dad's pretty pissed off at me.
Where we're going, we have no idea.
But we're ready to go.
We're ready to go. We've stayed frosty throughout.
Yeah.
We played some. We played some private parties during COVID. We played a lot more than anybody else I know played.
I'm really grateful.
We made great money
for those opportunities.
We're grateful. Shout out to everybody who let us come through and kept a safe environment.
We've been very blessed.
We've been very blessed
The whole time I've been part of this group.
We've had a lot of support from people, both monetarily and emotionally and energetically. It's really been a cushy and a dreamy ride for us, and it's humbling.
I think I'm dreaming all the time, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel that way too.
Being down in LA.
We were just talking about that today.
Yeah.
LA,
like a dream. That whole thing in LA was crazy. We can't just say, I think because we're not supposed to talk about what happened because it's going to come out sometime soon.
We joined the Fight Club.
We joined the Fight Club, so we can't talk about Fight Club, but we're excited for when it comes out that you can see what we did. Yeah. But we did do things like we did play the after party for the Emerald Cup Festival, and we did play on a green screen.
Yes.
Can you pull up our Fruit Creatures Instagram page? We did get to play on a green screen and be in a forest, and we were a part of a festival with Michael Franti and Melissa Etheridge and Crazy Bone and
Chelsea Handler.
Chelsea Handler,
was a
and
host.
they just had her. If that video, the intro video for the Emerald Cup, but we gotta be a part of some really cool things and meet some really cool people.
Yeah.
And we're excited to take what we learned.
There's some open doors on our horizon,
Yeah.
and we're really amped and prepared to step through them. We've, as a group, really come together strong in the last year, and all this experiences we've had together at this point. It just feels like something that, every band wishes they could get, and I can't wait to see where it takes us, really.
It's pretty exciting.
And more I think the most important thing is just to be supportive of one another in any way we can, both on stage and off. It seems to be the most foundational part, because we all love the music and we love the craft. And so as long as we are supportive of one another, I don't think there's anything that can get in our way.
Yeah. And we've all taken blood oaths.
A lot of blood.
A lot of blood shed in the oaths.
Somebody's bleeding all the time.
Somebody's bleeding.
Somebody's bleeding. We're just really excited. We're looking forward to the return of shows and to push what we're doing into the realm of having audience. So
I have a question for you guys, an interview question.
Get some questions up.
Each one of you, okay, what's your dream venue that you would like to play at? Like, where would you like to play at with Free Creatures? That would be like a dream scenario, bucket list.
Me first?
Yeah, Skylar first.
Oh, Madison Square Garden.
Ooh, me like it.
Yeah. Mecca.
G?
For some reason, I'm not trying to be a hipster or anything. Yeah. Please, can I please play in Grants Pass?
It's happening.
No, it's not that it's not happening, but I'm here all the time. Like, I would like to go to these venues that have like the Red Rocks. I would love to play Red Rocks, or like on the edge of the Grand Canyon, or maybe I'd like to play in a stage in Paris. And I'd love to rock Europe. I'd love to go do some of these clubs I saw when I went and played in Europe, and I would love to come back how we are. I don't think people would understand what's happening, and I know they love it.
Yeah.
And that's what I would like to do. Like, I've gotten to do a lot of the things I wanted to do, but this point with you guys, I want to play natural, environmental amphitheaters, So scroll up a little bit. You can follow us at Free Creatures, at free.creatures. Give us a follow. There's us with the green screen.
Wait a minute, Trevor, you're not following us?
Oh, wow.
Bro.
I'm not logged in.
Okay.
What the fuck, dude?
Come on. I'm out of here.
See,
this interview is
there's
over.
the green screen. Can you click on that green screen that we gotta perform on? Oh, man.
Oh, Trevor.
Dude.
What is your deal?
Dude. Dude.
Oh, wow.
Or like, okay, I got another question.
There's a video of you playing in David Way's studio recording your song. Here, play that one with the hit spray on the left. Yeah.
Oh no.
Dude.
Trevor, why? Why you hurt me?
So yeah, we're not lying. These things happen. I'm going to show you. You got video. It's cool, right?
I think my dream venue is Saturday Night Live.
Oh, you want to play Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, it's reaching big, but I want it.
That's John Belushi era.
I want that.
You want to play Saturday? What about you, Skylar?
He already said.
Oh, the Gorge.
Nope.
Red Rocks.
No, I would like to play the Gorge.
Yeah, that's what you would like.
Yeah, I would like to play the Gorge.
Yeah.
That would be great.
On the edge of Mars.
Okay, I got another question then.
Go ahead.
Johnny Mars.
What was your most memorable Free Creatures show that we've played together? And why?
Probably the one we just did in LA that we're not allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the Regent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that one, and when we were waiting, when nobody knew who we were.
Yeah.
And it was Thievery was playing outside at the base of Mount Tahoe ski resort, and we played these daytime shows, but this was like the after show, and we were plugged in this mountain ski bar, and we were all plugged in, and all the crowd, they're playing an encore, and we knew that all those people were going to come right into the bar and it was going to be on, and we were just waiting. Yeah. And I was like, this is like knowing that it's like, feels like we're at Helm's Deep and we know that they're coming. Yeah. You know, like we're just sitting at the wall. We got to defend this wall.
Yeah.
That was a great.
And remember when they came in?
Yeah, they just
oh my God, they just came in and it was on, and we just started playing. And Skylar, that was the first time I got to see Skylar like show me his showmanship. He like went out in the crowd and was like playing his guitar up in the air above people, and it was just so sick, and blowing kisses to the crowd.
Well, remember earlier that day, or like the day before, you were soloing. You were like, had somebody's bottle of wine in the audience. Somebody gave you some wine to drink, and you were still soloing. Like you had your left hand or your hand over here, and you were taking a drink and like giving and like hugging people, and they're still soloing. It was amazing.
I forgot about that, but I remember that moment. Yeah. I was like, that was a good show. If we can do this, then we can do anything.
Yeah, that moment with the security guard at the door, like, wait,
just wait, don't play yet.
Wait,
hold,
and go.
Hold.
Yeah, that was really cool.
It was really powerful moment for me. And then of course, being able to unveil the Free Creatures at Country Fair. Yeah, that was real special for me.
We're getting
to your father. To your,
my dad was there.
Yeah, to Fair. Everybody who got to see us, they'd never seen us, you know. And
there was walking around Country Fair, holding my dad's hand, saying, "This is my daddy."
Yeah, I remember that.
There's been so many cool like 10-mile shows. That was one of the quarantine show we did at Wildcraft.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, and then our first live stream at the Hive. Like not understanding what was
that might have been the best of them all.
Yeah. That was like right in the beginning of the live streaming. That was your birthday.
Yeah, it was your birthday.
March 26th.
32?
Yeah.
28th.
Yeah. So
28th? Damn it.
And then I mean there's been so many, but super and the one in Monterey Bay when we were on tour, and that place was packed.
Yeah,
sold
that was
out.
So awesome.
And we're just on there. I was like, if we can crush these shows like this, it's game over. Like we're gonna kill shit. Like, and we smashed it.
That was the beginning of realizing, like,
we got something special.
Yo, we can do this. We're testing it outside of our home base, and it's working.
What about you, Skylar? You got any questions?
Well, I was just wondering, what is your main influence as an artist? Not necessarily as a musician, but as an artist or as an aficionado of expressionism. And same question goes to you.
My biggest influence would be, my first influence was Louis Armstrong. Because he basically invented this style of singing jazz that was a little bit behind the beat. And I took that into hip hop because I figured if I was behind the 2 and the 4, just a slight bit, but right behind it, like it's gonna be a good day, like how he's just behind the beat. So I would try to, my influence was taking all these rhyme styles and trying to like put them right behind the snare, so you could hear what when I'm rhyming on the snare, I'm like that.
Right.
So you hear the word, but you also hear the snare instead of just that, like that. So that instead of the snare cutting me off.
Oh, okay.
So that's the original first influential style of anything I've ever done. And then it was like, like Young MC, too short.
Quickly into the rap.
Yeah, quickly into the rap. DOS Effects, Outkast, and then Mos Def. Obviously, I was in college, like downloading Mos Def lyrics and dissecting the syllables and like highlighting them, and like obsessive. And then every other rapper that ever came out during the golden era of hip hop, and I had to learn why different rappers were good at different things, like, and to take those things from them. Like Notorious Big always hit on the 2 and the 4, like that's Notorious Big style. And then Tupac had the tone, draw it out, like like everybody has a thing they do. Andre raps in how he talks. I took that from Andre 3000. I want to rap how I talk. So all of my influences is hip hop. All of the guys, all the girls, but just little things that they each do. If I can implement that into my voice as a Eugene rapper, like a white kid from Eugene, but I'll kill the mic in whatever cadence. That was my goal. That's been my goal. That's my influence, because I feel like everybody's got a voice, and I want to be the voice of of the Oregonians, Northwest. I've always been Northwest. My logo is a compass pointing the Northwest since day one, 20 years. Before banks did it, before everybody in mortgage companies had the Northwest compass as their logo, that was my logo. So trying to repping the Northwest and being not afraid to be.
I've always wanted to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Being from Reedsport.
You are.
I always wanted to, I wanted to make Oregon and furthermore the Oregon coast cooler somehow. And I figured the best way to do that would be through music. And yeah, so what's your as an expresser, as a creator, what's your influence?
Not to copycat really the vibes, but the first one that really impressed upon me as far as emoting would be Ella Fitzgerald, because
jazz.
Yeah, the old jazz type of, even the Tin Can Alley stuff and like the old standards and the Gershwin stuff and the Duke Ellington era. But when it came to listening to Ella Fitzgerald specifically, like you can really feel her, and Billie Holiday too, but Ella Fitzgerald was the one that first got me, where you could really feel the emotion and the swagger and the swing, and it really just makes you feel. And then, Nora Jones also as a vocal emoter, anytime you hear her, you just feel like warm blankie around you. I'm like, oh, yeah. It's soothing, and like feeling this warm, soothing comfort from singers is really what gets me. That's what inspires me the most. It's kind of what I want to bring to the table when I create, is like a warm, familiar, welcoming presence that just makes you kind of like feel okay to feel however it is that you're feeling.
You guys think there's information in the emotion that you project while you do music?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
There's information in the energy you're projecting, but there's also the information in how it's being received and projected back to you, that you got to filter in and out at the same time. And not let the energy of the crowd dictate things entirely, although it should partially.
They, as their conduits of the music, if they're listening and dancing, so they're almost playing the music themselves.
Yeah, it's not the same without that half of the equation. I always tell that to people when they come up to me at a show, like, oh, thank you so much. And I'm like, no, thank you. Like, I do this at home alone, and it doesn't go down like this. Like, it requires... Yeah. The other half and the interaction and the exchange to really pop off.
That's what I look up to you a lot about, man, is that you, better than anybody I've ever played with, wield the attention of the audience.
Yeah.
You use them as a vehicle of the music, of the emotional intelligence projection. You're on a different level of tapping in to the basically the instrument. They're like an instrument. The audience is an instrument.
Yeah, they're energy pools.
Yes.
I mean, we talked about this in the
beginning. And that's what I'm into, Yeah,
I remember we went and played a show in Etna, and I was like, you guys, we've just discovered another energy pool.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
energy pockets.
Energy pockets. And what our goal is to surf the planet searching for energy pockets.
Yeah.
And to assimilate with that energy pocket.
We're going to get up in your pocket.
We're going to get up in your pockets. Please don't say put it in your back pocket right now. I don't want to hear that song.
I wasn't even gonna.
Not you. Just anybody at home. Don't sing that song.
It's a great song.
I'm so over that song.
Well, now I'm thinking about it.
I know.
I'm thinking about
it. I'm sorry. I just, it's like.
And it's a hit.
We're trying to. Well, I thought Game Winner was the hit on that album, but anyway, we're seeking new energy pockets, and we are on a quest, and that's our vibe. That's the vibe that we are kicking out, is that we want to find other energy pockets and share our energy with their energy pockets. And we found so many cool spots. Like, we're gonna play a couple shows. We got some cool shows coming up.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for those shows. I was outside of the venue after our last show.
Where?
Outside of the Emerald Cup thing. And these guys came outside, and they're like, oh, you guys were the band just playing. I was like, yeah. He goes, what are you called? I go, we're Free Creatures. He's like, that's cool. And he goes, do you have your Instagram? And I was like, yeah. I was like, here's our music. And I played him the song Free Creatures, and they all lost their shit. They're like, oh my God, this is crazy video, right? Mm-hmm. And I love that that's our first song on our album, and our title track, and our thing that we project is like, it encompasses, that video encompasses so much about who we are. Like, we busted our ass to make that happen. Mm-hmm. We busted our ass to get all that shit together. That was our real work crew. That was our hemp flower. That was our song. We made that song. Those are our tractors. We're driving. Mm-hmm. We're driving them. We're working the land. You showed up. You really did, Barry. You really did get rid of your smartphone. So that was how we incorporated you into the video, is you burying your smartphone like a dead body.
We really did have that neon light after party.
We did have that neon light after party.
That was real.
That was real. And I think
seemed like
that
a dream, though.
Yeah,
it did seem like a dream.
It all does.
All of it.
We had a ballerina there.
Yeah, we had a world renowned ballerina, and you know, she's young, she's talented. Alasia Badalich. Yeah, we love you.
It's not a party until you got a ballerina.
Yeah, you gotta get Alasia up in there, and then it's game on. And we've been so blessed by our estate and our Free Creature family to be put in a position to continue our pursuit of music. And everybody who's in the Free Creature family, we hope you would like to be in that too.
Yeah.
Check out our website.
We call it the Framily.
The Framily. Check us out. Follow us, free.creatures on Instagram. Go to our website.
freecreaturesmusic.com.
freecreaturesmusic.com. Check out our videos. Check out our live stream this Friday. I think we're probably going to end this by dropping our title.
Check your text real quick.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, Skylar's music is on all the platforms.
Whoa, bro.
Skylar's music is on all the platforms, right? Your music's on iTunes and Spotify.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, Squglio. That's how you find it.
And it's Squglio.
That is correct.
Squglio.
Excuses.
Oh, Miss Squglio.
Couple questions. Are you left-handed?
Yes.
Good. Are you left-handed?
No, sir.
Awesome. What is the name of your instrument?
Guitar.
What's the name of your instrument?
Electric upright bass.
No, do you have a name for your bass?
Oh, Betty.
What's the name of your trumpet?
Rosalita Linda.
What's the name of your ukulele?
I don't have one.
Okay. Do you have a name, like a name for your guitar?
Gratitude, because it was given to me by an anonymous donor in the Southern Oregon music community.
Awesome, dude. Who is it? Give him a shout out. Look at the camera.
He's anonymous.
Anonymous.
I want to shout out to whoever it was out there. Thank you. You heard about my guitar breaking at Johnny B's, and you made sure I got a new one. Whoever it was, thank you so much. Much gratitude.
It takes a village, ladies and gentlemen, for things to happen, and our village is strong down here in Southern Oregon. We are very grateful.
Not just Southern Oregon, the whole state.
Just the whole state. My instrument is called MPC3PO.
Nice.
Yes.
That's what her name is. She brings the thump. Before we go, I have a thing that I do with every artist I have on the show. I want to ask you a question. I want to take you all. I want you to jump into a Geo Metro time machine, and I want you to travel from here all the way to the tip of Florida. And you got to get in that tiny fucking little car, and you got to drive all the way nonstop to the tip of Florida. But what's the worth without work, right? You need to work for it. So that's the drive. That's the small little Geo Metro. Okay. But when you drive that Geo Metro across the country, you wind up at a venue, and in this mid-sized venue, you have any artist who ever played ever in this history of time. You can have an opener, a main support, and a headliner. And what I want to do is I want to know which one of you is prepared to answer this question first, so the other one you can buy time for her to think. So what we're going to do is you're getting in the Geo Metro time machine. Tell me who is playing this concert that you go to in Florida after driving for 3,500 miles in a small little tiny car.
And there's three bands.
There's three bands: an opener, and everybody's in their prime, dead or alive.
Okay.
Opener, main support, headliner.
Okay. The opener would be the Police.
Nice.
The main support, the middle band, would be Cream. I take that back. Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Okay.
And the headliner would be the Beatles.
That's a pretty good show. So
it's hard to pick just three.
Well, when we were on the drive back from Cali, I got edumacated on Police big time. I am fucking blown away by the Police.
He's a badass Yes.
They are all badass. The drummer's badass. I learned things about drumming that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
Like something so simple.
Yeah.
I learned something so simple about pace, and then I understand the Jimmy, and I'm clearly buying time for Emily right now. And I also understand.
Well, the Beatles had different eras, right?
Yeah. What era?
I would pick the early era. I would pick when George Harrison was like 17 years old.
Like they're working in the strip club in Germany?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Got you.
Maybe right after that.
Playing
Because
7
that's when
hours
they
a day.
When they 1st exploded.
They were doing speed.
Oh.
They're just doing a ton of speed and working it because they couldn't.
The Speedles.
The speed. Come on. What the fuck? This is what I live with every day, dude. Every day. It's hilarious. She's
Pure wit.
Can we have the laughing machine at home?
Pure wit, and her DJ name
This
is.
is like every day. Every day. Shit, I love you.
You do.
All right, Emily. For you,
Yeah.
you got to get in that Geometra time machine. Who are your bands?
It's difficult because there are more than 3. For sure.
Only get
Okay,
3.
so like Ella Fitzgerald
Okay.
with Duke Ellington,
The whole band.
yeah,
Great.
is involved in the night.
Love it.
Bob Marley
That's 2.
and the Wailers
That's main
is
support.
number 2.
Okay.
I don't know the order though. Like
Yeah,
the
it's
order's
okay.
kind of tripping
That's
me out
okay.
a
That's
little
okay.
bit.
That's okay. You can pick what he picked too. If you like the Beatles, that's
Yeah, but like
understandable.
the Beatles. But then like, what about like Outkast? I've never been able to see Outkast live. Or like Beck would blow my mind open. Or like,
no, all time, babe. All time. You don't need to want to mix Beck in with all time.
why not though? He's amazing.
I would rather see Beethoven with a 36 piece.
I mean, there's him
Symphony
too.
than
Beethoven
Beck.
is fucking lit.
Beethoven is fire.
He is
Beethoven's so fire.
Beethoven. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think
That would be
Ella,
sick.
Bob, and Cake.
Cake?
I love Cake.
Okay.
I've never seen them. They've come a bunch of times, and I never get to see them.
So Cake would
Cake would
headline
open it.
over
No, no,
Bob
no, no,
Marley.
no. Cake
Okay.
would open.
I think that would be a dope show. Like
Goddamn right they would.
Cake.
Don't hate on my
No, I'm
music
not. I'm just
choice.
saying, yeah, they would open for sure.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, Bob Mahler's not opening for Cake.
No, don't. Hey, don't give me heat on my choice.
I'm not. I'm just pointing out
This
logical
is how
facts.
you treat everybody that answers your question.
All the time, I brutalize them with.
This is why he sat out for a year while he wrote an album.
Yeah, I don't want to give you weird input.
Can't have your cake and eat it too, Emily. Just remember that.
Yeah.
I would say Nora Jones, but I did get to see her, and it was amazing. So I've gotten to like see that.
Nora Jones?
Yeah, or Elin Jewell's another one, but I've got to see her. Or like Mary Ford and Les Paul in their heyday would be amazing.
Yeah, that's a
I don't know. There's a lot.
Elon Musk
Elon Musk in concert.
live. What about you, Garrett? Marv
What about
Ellis?
you, Gary?
Huh?
Marv?
Oh, nobody asked me.
What about you, Marv
We're
Ellis? What
asking
would your
you
three
right
be?
now.
I don't qualify for.
What would
this
your three
question.
be?
It would definitely be Louis, opener, with band, whoever, like when you know how he invented the rock band, the modern day rock band.
Louis Armstrong did?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. He invented like like the drums, bass, trumpet, piano, or guitar. That was like he from big band. He had his smaller group. That was kind of like the origin.
Oh, I just thought of another one.
Who?
Oh, you go.
I would pick Louis. I would pick Outkast in their prime, like ATLians in a club with a DJ. No big band shit, nothing. Just give me like the raw underground, hungry Outkast. You know what I mean? I want hungry Outkast. I don't want like accomplished Grammy Award winning Outkast. I'm hungry. Most bands would probably be when they're hungry, And then for my finale, just out of pure enjoyment and impact on my life and worldwide impact, I'd probably pick Bob Marley and the Wailers in his prime.
God bless you guys for picking Bob Maher.
I'm just saying.
But then, what about like Django Reinhardt or like Pink Floyd?
I never was a Floyd guy. I never was a Zeppelin guy. I never was I never followed. I liked weird shit in high school. Like
Django Reinhardt's weird.
I bumped like Symphony Station.
He's missing some fingers.
I bumped Louis in high school. I was the guy who was not bumping all the cool trendy bands like 311 and Sublime and
You weren't like a Rastaman?
no. Okay. No, I was never into what the kid I was bumping Outkast. Nobody was bumping Outkast in my school. When I Southern Playlist, like I was the only one who was bumping Outkast at Sheldon High School. Promise you that.
What year was that?
93, 94.
So that's way before they were.
Yeah, like 311 was like all the weed smoker, water polo swimmer dudes would go to Bonds Park and bump 311 and like we'd smoke weed at Bond Park and Sublime. That was like the weed smoking, like hippie kids that were, you know, the athlete, you know, water polo player. You know. 'Cause keep in mind, I was like athletic school, and then like my dad's house was all the, you know, Churchill, like poor area, really shitty conditions, like Section 8 kids. And then I go over here and there's like these rich kids that are like in water polo and like bumping Sublime. They all had like cool Volkswagens and cool cars.
Freesport did not have water polo.
Exactly.
No fencing.
Exactly.
Either.
This is what I'm saying to you. It was an athlete school.
Anchorage,
Sheldon was?
hockey
Sheldon is like at one time. Sheldon, they won men's football, men's soccer, female soccer, in the one fall. Do you know
Really?
what that? Yeah. Do you know what that means? State championships.
I'm
That's
starting to get pissed off just thinking about that.
Justin Herbert. I gave Justin Herbert a pep talk in the dugout before his state finals game in baseball.
Justin Herbert?
Justin Herbert was in the dugout.
The quarterback?
Yeah, I gave him a pep talk.
Really?
Yeah, my old baseball coach was like, "You want to talk to the boys?"
You know Herbert?
I don't know him. I remember looking over and seeing a person that looked like he was anthropomorphic. You know what that means?
Really tall and muscular?
A human in God form.
Yeah.
Or God in human form. And I was like, that kid is a giant person. And he was like taping his bat in the corner, looking at me, and I was like, "You boys got to get him this tomorrow. You got to get in there and get what you deserve." Like I was trying to give him the pep talk. It was, and they lost. They lost 3-1, but
better than losing 3-11.
Yeah. Hey. So, I don't even know. Yeah. Those are my bands. That's who I'd see.
That's a solid 3.
That's what it was like for me growing up. It was different, and to be at this table with you all now, right here in this moment, is I would never be here if all that shit didn't happen to me, and it didn't happen to you, and it didn't happen to you. And that's the thing at the end of the day I'm really grateful for, is just having been through all these things and experiences and bands and like all these things we've all been through. And now we're here and the future feels so bright. I ordered a brand new pair of sunglasses yesterday and it got delivered to my neighbor kid, and he opened them and played with them all weekend, and it has his fingerprints on them, and then I just got them back. But that's how bright the future feels.
That makes me fucking sick.
I got new shades, and I feel really excited about what we got going on, and it's really weird and cool to have you guys in here for my podcast and be able to talk to you guys. And I'm really grateful for you both. It's awesome. And I'm excited for our show on Friday.
Yeah.
It's sold out for the small limited crowd that get to come, but you can tune in by tuning into the Hive at 8 p.m. Right, Trev? And you can check out what we're doing. Don't forget to like and subscribe to that at 8 p.m. We'll see you there. We'll be rocking. We'll be doing songs we'll be performing the All the Things album, our last album, because it's unseen, untold, unsold. So we're going to keep playing it for you to people who don't know about us. And shout out to Chang and the whole team. We miss you guys. And then we are going to play some new music off of your album, and some music that I released. And then we will play more music off the new album that we've recorded. So Friday night's going to be a very special production. And
a showcase, if you will.
Sort of a showcase for all our friends and family and our Free Creature Fam. And I'm really excited about it. Do you guys have anything else you want to say to your friends and family out there?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. From now until the time the album drops on May 1st, I have a Spotify pre-save campaign going on, which, really helps artists when they're dropping a new album. If you go and pre-save the album, it'll pop up on your release radar the day that it drops. And the more plays it gets in the first 24 hours, the better it will perform in the algorithm. So it's a really awesome way to help musicians that you like. So for me, in this case, I have the Spotify pre-save campaign links on all of my profiles, like on Instagram and Facebook. And there's some links on the Free Creatures social media as well. So yeah, if you don't mind.
It really does help, y'all. These
it.
days, it's all about getting plays on Spotify. So if you can at home, go pre-save her album. I promise you, if it took my breath away by song 3, I promise you it's going to be worth it.
It's a really special project.
And she busted her ass making it.
Yeah, and so did Jared. And
I'm really proud of you. It's really cool. It's her first album, y'all.
Yeah.
It's her first album.
My first solo album.
Her first solo album.
After many projects.
Yes. And Skylar, your album's out there, and I think it's a crime that if people don't check that out. Why don't you tell the camera right there how they can listen and find you and check you out?
You could just go to Skylar and the Sketchy Kids on YouTube, or you can go just Google Skylar Squglio. That's Skylar with an E, and Squglio, Squglio.
There it is.
And it's just all over the internet. I'd go to YouTube. Watch a couple of videos. It's fun. They're fun videos.
Yeah.
It is fun. You have
I did
fun.
one called Reedsport. That's my hometown. So.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to trying to help how I can as soon as possible film some more. Yeah. And same for you. We're going to just keep doing what we can to make content, video, things like that.
We have some exciting collaborations on the Free Creatures
Ooh,
Horizon.
we do. We got a song with High Step.
Yep. And we got some movie projects coming up with Daniel Lorien's in the building. We're going to do some movies. You just did some commercial music. I just did some commercial music for Danner Boots
and Subaru.
And they're releasing some women's ad campaigns this spring with music in the background from my upcoming album, as well as some original compositions.
I mean, what's up? What's up, world?
We're hitting it hard.
Status.
Don't sleep on the Free Creatures.
Yeah,
we're a squad. We're like Wu-Tang forever, dog.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang God.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang. E-Turner.
Yeah.
Schemer. Marv Emer. Shout out to all our Lemur teamers out there. Yeah. This is Emer Teamer, Schemer, and Jemer Beamer. And shout out to
the Supreme Lemur.
That sounds like drug talk.
All hail the Supreme Lemur.
Jemer Hemer.
We miss you. We'll see you in Idaho soon.
Rest Beamer.
If you don't know, now you know.
Old Rest Beamer.
So with this right here, thank you for checking us out. Skyway, again, Horner, I'm coming for that mac and cheese, bro.
Coming for that
mac and cheese, bro.
I would love a bite of that.
Best mac and cheese in Oregon and best barbecue. And we'll be up there playing on Mount Hood soon. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Deep Dive of the Hive. I'm Marv Ellis, your host. And we're going to leave you with a special little something. It's going to be our Free Creatures title track off the All the Things album, which we will be performing on Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So thank y'all for tuning in. And are we good to go and roll that and be outro? Trevor, we love you, man. Thanks for being on our Free Creature team and doing what you do, man. And shout out to Joe Dinkowitz for being our sound man all through quarantine and into the future, baby. All right. Big Dink. We love you, man. Thanks, you guys. And peace. Thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Right. Thank you.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right. Bye, y'all. gotta do what we gotta do. It's never over till you follow through. We're getting slimmer, eating fatter food. Free creature type of attitude. We chase our dreams when the work is done. The starting gun is the setting sun. The bills are real when it's what you want. But not all Jedi come from Padawan. Sometimes the prison is within the mind. Your brain is riddled by your own advice. And it's such a precious tiny little life that I lay awake and think about at night. Fact, we have the means to make it so. Whoa, look at the fractals in the afterglow. Yo, ever after is the place we know. Oh, another chapter and I told you so.
Deep down, just a freak creature, just a freak creature for good reason. Oh, finish the season, diving in deep in what we believe in. Deep down, just a freak creature, just a freak creature for good reason. Oh, finish the season, diving in deep in what we believe in. Way deep down around, ancient carbon calling deep in my bones. All along, eating big buffalo. I just wanna do what I wanna do everywhere I go. But I lean in and give it muscle. Zipper back her in the jungle. Mother moves deep in the tundra. Winter's on my way and she's got 2 young ones. Ooh, and everybody's hungry. I guess I need money, guess I gotta pay. Gotta swim far for a whale gets to play. Call me a freak, but sometimes I need a reason. Work's more fun when I believe it.
All right, cut. Thank you, everybody. That's a wrap. Let's go get it. Let's get to work.